Chapter 1438. Under everyone's gaze, Liu Beichen carried Gu Jingyan and walked towards the infirmary. In the infirmary, Gu Jingyan was put down. The doctor quickly came over and saw that the back of her foot was red and swollen. It doesn't look like a fracture. Otherwise, you wouldn't be able to move right now. The doctor massaged her foot and sprayed some medicine on it. But it's better to go to the hospital for a checkup. Liu Beichen said. Then why are you still here? Let's go. I'll take you to the hospital. Liu Beichen said, wanting to come over again. Gu Jingyan quickly said, Sai, it's fine. Why go to the hospital? I'll just let the doctor at home take a look. Liu Beichen thought about it and agreed. The Gu family had a doctor. Why would she go to the hospital? I'll call your family to come and pick you up. I'll call them myself. If you call them, my family won't think that something big happened to me, and I can't make a phone call. They might get into more trouble. She looked up at Liu Beichen. She looked at him deeply. Liu Beichen looked at her. What's wrong? Didn't you sit quite far away? How could you run so fast? She said. Liu Beichen said. Io, you still have the cheek to say that? I realized that the tilt of the platform wasn't right. You guys are really good. For the sake of the show, you made such a difficult sign. Luckily you're fine. Otherwise your face wouldn't look good. It would have been flattened and disfigured even if you didn't die. Get lost. How is my face not good? You think it's pretty good. The two of them laughed as they spoke. Just then Old Su and Little Q came in. Fu Chenxi also walked in silently from behind. She was stunned to see the two of them laughing in front of the bed. Had they reconciled? Fu Chenxi looked at Gu Jingyan. Is your leg okay? I think it hit your leg. Gu Jingyan looked at Fu Chenxi and smiled. It's fine. Fu Chenxi said. It was too dangerous. I was scared to death. Luckily Beichen ran fast. Old Su also said. Yeah, he ran faster than a rabbit. I was still in a daze, and he had already gone over. Luckily you reacted in time, Little Q said. Gu Jingyan said. Okay. Anyway, thank you for your concern. I think I'll be limping for a few days. But the doctor said I didn't hurt my bones. Gu Jingyan quickly made a call home. The Gu family immediately sent someone to take her back for treatment. Liu Beichen and the others left together. Fu Chenxi looked at Liu Beichen and said, You're really fast. I haven't seen anything yet. Liu Beichen said, Of course, my reflexes have always been quick. Fu Chenxi tilted her head and looked at him. In the end, she didn't say anything. When Gu Jingyan told her family about it, they were also scared. They even wanted to get 2 security guards to follow her. But of course Gu Jingyan didn't want it. She immediately rejected it. How could she go to class with security? She didn't want to be stared at wherever she went. However, in order to thank Liu Beichen, the Gu family invited them over for a visit. Gu Jingyan told Liu Beichen and the others about it. Since they were free on the weekend, they decided to visit Gu Jingyan. Fu Chenxi followed them. The 4 of them followed. Liu Beichen drove his flashy Ferrari. It had 2 seats, so he only brought Fu Chenxi along. Behind them, Old Su drove his family's Lamborghini and Little Q drove a Maserati. The few of them stopped in front of Gu Jingyan's house. It didn't seem out of place. After all, the Gu family's mansion wasn't an ordinary place. It wasn't close to other houses, but they could still see that they were all villas. It was obvious that this was a wealthy area. Although Fu Chenxi had seen the Gu family's mansion from the outside, she had never entered it. When she entered, she realized that it didn't look like much from the outside, but it was even bigger inside. After entering, the servant brought them to look for Gu Jingyan. Although she was fine, they still arranged a wheelchair for her. She sat in the middle and waited for them speechlessly. Oh, not bad. You're a disabled person now, Old Su said. Gu Jingyan said angrily. It's all because of the doctor at home. He said that I can't move around much, so mother got me a wheelchair immediately. Fortunately, the wheelchair was electric. After getting used to it, she could go wherever she wanted. This place is not bad. Are you living in this house? In the Gu family's courtyard, there were small individual buildings not far away from each other. The children in the family all lived in their own buildings. Her building wasn't considered big. The biggest one belonged to her second brother, because he had a lot of equipment in his place. She didn't have anything to put, so she asked for a smaller one. The decorations inside were not simple. They were all arranged by Muwanqing. It was like a princess's room. She could see how much effort was put into it. This small building was actually lived by Gu Jingyan alone. Fu Qinxi couldn't help but exclaim. She had always thought that the rich and powerful families on television were already very extravagant. The family lived in a big villa with several rooms. However, Gu Jingyan's house was still beyond her expectations. Everyone actually had a small villa. Gu Jingyan said, "You can eat and play as you please. I told them not to disturb us. We can eat here later. It's too annoying to go to the dining room. Grandfather is very serious. You will definitely be scared to death." "Ha, okay. Hey, is upstairs your bedroom?" "No, I have to go in and see if there are any secrets hidden." Lao Su usually came to the Gu family, but he had never been to Gu Jingyan's room. He ran up out of curiosity. Hey, come back here. Who allowed you to go up?" "You're not allowed to go up." Little Q grabbed Lai Su's back and pulled him down the stairs. "Seriously, how can you look in a girl's room?" Little Q said righteously. "What if you see something you can't see, such as underwear or something?" "Go to hell." Gu Jingyan couldn't move her feet, so she threw a pillow at him. They laughed. Seeing that the servants had brought food over to eat, they moved out a bigger space in the living room and sat there, ready to play games. Gu Jingyan and Fu Qinxi watched from the side as the boys started to fight. Liu Beichen played the game very well and kept winning. Lao Su was not bad either, but he almost won every time. He was so angry that he wanted to curse. "Ah, Liu Beichen, get out of my way. Ah, Liu Beichen, how can you bear to hit me like this?" Fu Qinxi watched from the side. When she thought that he was her boyfriend, she suddenly felt extremely proud. He was really handsome in every way. Gu Jingyan looked at the time. "You guys play. I'm going to take my medicine first." "Go ahead, don't stop taking your medicine. When you come down, I will have beaten Liu Beichen up." Unfortunately, after a while, he was beaten up by Liu Beichen again. "Fuck, I'm not playing anymore." Lao Su waved his arm angrily, and the drink beside him spilled on Liu Beichen's pants. Chapter 1439. Fuck, you can't take revenge like this even if you can't win. Liu Beichen jumped up immediately. Old Su was still laughing out loud. The servant saw him and said quickly, "Young Master Liu, let's get you some clothes to change into." Liu Beichen snorted and followed the servant upstairs. The servant said, "The clothes here are all new. The butler prepared them for you. We just brought a few sets here. You can choose from them." Liu Beichen said, "Okay, I got it." The servant left him to change on the second floor and left. Liu Beichen chose a set at random. The brand was not bad. The butler of the Gu family was good at choosing. He walked out and wandered around the corridor for a while. He heard some movement inside, the sound of someone humming a song. It was probably Gu Jingyan. He thought that this woman was so cheerful, and even humming a song. Her humming was so unpleasant. He walked over with a smile, and saw that the door was slightly open. Through the gap, that slender figure was standing there, putting on her underwear. She was only wearing a small dress. Although the weather was cold, the Gu family's floor heating was still very hot. In the room, she was wearing an ordinary homeware with a skirt underneath. At this moment, she was standing on one foot, twisting and turning as she put on her underwear under the dress. Liu Beichen froze there. He couldn't move his feet at all. He just followed his gaze and looked inside. Underneath, her long sleeves were crossed. The underwear was on her calves, and couldn't be pulled up. He could see that it was a pair of lace underwear, dark blue in color. It was small and looked like it would disappear if he clenched it with one hand. Since she was wearing, that meant she wasn't wearing it inside. She was naked at this thought. Liu Beichen felt his nose and body heat up. He should leave, but his feet seemed to be fixed there, and he couldn't move. His gaze couldn't help but want to see what was going on. He was already a teenager in puberty. How could he hold himself back when he saw such a scene? He could even feel that his body was quietly changing. Even though he knew about this, he had never been so impulsive. When he was with Fu Qinxi, it was good enough to hold her hand. He had never thought of anything else. However, now that he saw such a scene, why? He suddenly couldn't help it. However, at this moment, inside, because Gu Jingyan's foot was injured, she was standing on one leg while putting on the clothes for herself. Due to a moment of carelessness, her body tilted sideways. At this moment, Liu Beichen forgot that he was peeping and subconsciously ran in. Aya! Gu Jingyan thought she was going to fall again. Never would he have thought that the person behind him would directly fall in front of him. She sat on his thighs. It was a little uncomfortable, but it was better than falling on the ground. However, when she lowered her head and met his eyes, she was stunned for a moment. Why was Liu Beichen here? She had yet to react and could only stare blankly at him. However, Liu Beichen almost lost his mind. Her meaty skin was directly pressed against him. Although he was wearing a thin pair of pants, he could still feel the warmth coming from them. Moreover, he had been impulsive to begin with, and the thing down there was uncontrollably raised. However, Gu Jingyan did not know. She only saw that Liu Beichen's face was suspiciously red. She did not know why, but it was getting redder and redder. Hey, what's wrong? Did I hurt you? Gu Jingyan's heart skipped a beat. She thought that she had hurt him. She quickly tried to move, but she felt her waist being grabbed by him. You, Gu Jingyan said. What's wrong with you? Let me get up. Don't move. This stupid woman. Liu Beichen cursed in his heart as he looked at her with a burning gaze. Gu Jingyan quickly tried to get up, but she felt something slip on her calf. She looked down. It was her underwear. Damn. She had forgotten that she was still changing her pants. Her face instantly turned red. She remembered that she was not wearing anything, and was really sitting on his thighs. She was going to die. She quickly jumped up. You get out. Blushing, she did not dare to look at him, and leaned to the side. Liu Beichen also felt guilty. He covered a certain part of his body and quickly retreated. Gu Jingyan quickly sat on the ground, and put on her underwear. She was still puzzled. This Liu Beichen, when did he appear at the door? Wasn't he playing games? Why was he upstairs? What did he see just now? Her face was getting redder and redder. She felt as if her face was burning. Gosh, what was this guy doing? Not to mention what he had seen. Just that moment alone was enough to make her feel unbearable. And below, Fu Chenxi waited for a long time, but no one came out. After a while, she was still puzzled when she saw Liu Beichen running down quickly. He had changed into a new set of clothes. He looked a little strange, as if he was running away from something. Fu Chenxi quickly said, What's wrong, Beichen? Are you feeling unwell? Liu Beichen paused to calm himself down and slowed down. Oh, I'm fine. He walked down and sat beside Old Su. Old Su turned around and said, Damn, what's wrong with you? Your face looks like it's been cooked. Liu Beichen glared at him forcefully. Just then, Gu Jingyan also came down. She came down slowly, and saw Liu Beichen first. But coincidentally, Liu Beichen was also looking at her. The two of them looked at each other. The daring feeling from above came back again. It was as if her heart had been struck by something, and her body felt hot again. Old Su looked up and saw that Gu Jingyan's face was also red. Hey, where did you two go? Don't tell me you went to steal something? Why are your faces so red? Old Su didn't know what to say and directly asked. Gu Jingyan threw something directly at his face. Liu Beichen followed up with a punch. What's wrong with you? What's wrong with me? However, as the two of them fought and looked at each other, they still couldn't stop blushing. The two of them quickly turned their heads and stopped looking at each other. After a while they finally calmed down. Fu Chenxi was still watching them. She also felt that something was wrong with the two of them, but she didn't know how to ask. She could only stare at them, back and forth, hoping to find out something. But after that, the two of them stopped looking at each other, and the matter could only be left unsettled. Gu Jingyan snatched Old Su's controller and went to play games while Liu Beichen leaned against her without moving. Old Su said, Beichen, what happened when you went upstairs? Liu Beichen glared at him and said, It was hot upstairs. Yes, it was very hot, very hot. As Liu Beichen thought about it, he couldn't help but glance at Gu Jingyan's back again. He was thinking about how she looked when she sat in his arms. He couldn't get rid of it. Chapter 1440. They stayed at Gu Jingyan's place until night time. After having dinner together, they went home. When it was time for school, they went to school together again. Everyone watched as Gu Jingyan and Liu Beichen walked together again. However, there were a few more people this time. Old Su, Little Q, Fu Chenxi, and Gu Jingyan were with Liu Beichen. Sometimes, Gu Jingyan and Liu Beichen could be seen walking together. People even said that Gu Jingyan and Liu Beichen looked like a good match, and they looked much more harmonious. In comparison, Fu Chenxi was a little too weak. She was not as imposing as Gu Jingyan. When they reached the entrance of the classroom, they separated and went back to their own classes. In class, the teacher mentioned the final exam next month. Gu Jingyan then remembered that the teacher had said that if Liu Beichen did not pass the next exam, she would be punished together with him. After class, she turned around and said to Liu Beichen, "Hey, do well this time. I don't want to be punished together with you, okay?" Liu Beichen remembered it too. There's still some time before the exam. Seeing his attitude, Gu Jingyan felt that it was hopeless. She looked up at the sky and sighed. "Forget it. I must have owed you in my past life." Seeing that he had saved her, Gu Jingyan did not want to quarrel with him over this, so she turned around and said nothing more. Seeing this, Liu Beichen thought for a moment and hit her from behind with a paper ball. Gu Jingyan frowned and turned around. "What are you doing?" Liu Beichen said, "All right, let's study together tonight, okay?" "Really? It's true. Look at you." Seeing Gu Jingyan's bright smile, Liu Beichen was speechless. Gu Jingyan smiled and said, "Of course, I'm a good student." At night, the three of them studied together. Old Su and Little Q came over and saw that the three of them were actually doing their homework. Bored, they said, "Okay, you guys continue being good students. We're going for a race." Gu Jingyan looked at them disdainfully. "Okay, we'll bring you food when we go in." After the two of them left, the three of them continued to study. Fu Chenxi's studies were average, but Gu Jingyan seemed to know everything. No matter what question it was not difficult for her. Fu Chenxi looked at Gu Jingyan enviously. "Why is your brain so good? I really can't remember anything. I don't know what to do." Gu Jingyan said, "It's really not difficult. It's just that you didn't read the questions carefully and wrote the answers before you understood the meaning of the questions. That's why you ended up like this. Look, isn't this question the same? But I really can't remember. I think English is so difficult, but your English results are so good." Liu Beichen said, "That's enough. It's not that there's something wrong with you. What you did is normal. What she did was abnormal." "Huh?" Fu Chenxi looked at him. Liu Beichen said, "Their families are all like that. Their eldest son, Gu Jingming, is a rising star in the political world. He graduated from Stanford University. Their second son, who skipped many years to study, got into the University of Chicago when he was in his teens. He's studying 3 subjects at the same time. Their brains are all weird. Why are you competing with her in this?" Fu Chenxi looked at Gu Jingyan in admiration and said, "Wow, your eldest and second brothers are so awesome. No wonder. Maybe it's also hereditary." Fu Chenxi sighed. This must be God's choice. If she couldn't do it, then she couldn't do it. Gu Jingyan said, "Hey, don't blame God for your own incompetence. There's always a knock on the door. It's just that you don't understand it." "Oh, you're talking as if your English isn't related to your nanny, who graduated from Cambridge University in England." Fu Chenxi slowly became a little jealous. It turned out that their nanny had been English since they were young. No wonder she didn't need to learn English, and she was so fluent. But she had only started learning English in the 3rd grade. Of course, she didn't know anything. Gu Jingyan said, "Hurry up and read your book." Liu Beichen laughed and continued to do the questions. Fu Chenxi looked at the two of them and sighed in her heart. She felt that they didn't belong to the same world. But the good thing was that Liu Beichen didn't like people like Gu Jingyan. Maybe he felt that she was special because he was surrounded by people like her. Fu Chenxi was worried that Liu Beichen wouldn't notice her if she stayed with Gu Jingyan for a long time. She started to see that he interacted with Old Su and Little Q in the same way, and felt that they were probably friends. As his girlfriend, she couldn't be so suspicious of her boyfriend. So she tried her best to control herself. She didn't want to be a meddlesome girlfriend. When Gu Jingyan finished school, she sought Xing Kai at the door. He saw Gu Jingyan and said, "Ah, the weather is so cold. You're wearing this?" Gu Jingyan was wearing less. She didn't notice it in the morning, but it was snowing in the afternoon. Sun Kai said, "Here's your jacket." Huh. Sun Kai took off his down jacket and gave it to Gu Jingyan. But Sun Kai was only wearing a cotton t-shirt. He threw the jacket to Gu Jingyan and skipped away. Gu Jingyan watched helplessly as he quickly got into a car. She could only hold on to the down jacket and sigh. Actually, she was going to get into the car soon. It wouldn't be cold. The next day, she could only run to Sun Kai's class. Sun Kai was a year older than them and was a sophomore. When she reached the entrance of their class, she pulled someone aside and said, "Can you call Sun Kai from your class?" The person at the door looked at Gu Jingyan and was stunned. Then, he rushed in like the wind, as if he had discovered something amazing. "Wow, Sun Kai, there's a beauty looking for you." When Gu Jingyan heard this excited voice, she stood at the door and rolled her eyes. Was it that exaggerated? Sun Kai rushed out. When he saw Gu Jingyan, he smiled shyly and said, "You're here." Gu Jingyan passed him a bag and said, "It's been dry cleaned. Thank you." Although she hadn't worn it before, she still cleaned it well and brought it here. Sun Kai laughed and said, "I'm just wearing it. Why did you have to dry clean it? It's as if I brought it to you to be washed." "Haha, so that's why you gave it to me," Gu Jingyan said jokingly. Sun Kai laughed and said, Yeah, you found out." Gu Jingyan realized that the people behind her were looking at her curiously. It was a little annoying, so she curled her lips and said, "I'll go back first then." Sun Kai also realized it and said embarrassedly, "They're curious because you're too famous." Gu Jingyan said, "What fame do I have?" "You just don't know. I'll send you there." Chapter 1441. Asterisk, it's okay. I'm downstairs. There's nothing to send. Gu Jingyan skipped away. Sun Kai looked at the clothes in his hands, smiled, and returned to class. Sure enough, everyone was sighing in class. "Wow, Sun Kai, what's going on? Wow, you're so lucky with the ladies." Sun Kai's face turned red. In the afternoon, Fu Chenxi heard rumors that Gu Jingyan had gone to Sun Kai's class. Then, everyone was talking about how the two of them knew each other. Sun Kai was also a millionaire with a small reputation. His family owned a factory and did OEM work. His family had some money, and he was a good person. Therefore, everyone was wondering if Gu Jingyan would be with him. Actually, there were many millionaires who pursued Gu Jingyan. Some of them did not openly but secretly. Later, when they saw that Gu Jingyan was always with Liu Beichen, they did not dare to pursue her so openly. They still showed their affection for her. However, many of these millionaires were good-for-nothings, and were not as good as Sun Kai. Everyone felt that it was not impossible for Gu Jingyan to like Sun Kai. After all, he was a good person. If Gu Jingyan was smart, she would find someone like him. Fu Chenxi told Liu Beichen. They all said that Gu Jingyan is going to be with Sun Kai. Sun Kai? Liu Beichen said. Who? It's the one we saw eating with them last time. Liu Beichen remembered. That's impossible. Gu Jingyan doesn't like him. No, they said that Gu Jingyan went to his class to look for him today. Liu Beichen turned his head immediately. Who said that? Fu Chenxi was startled by his expression. That's right. Everyone is talking about it. I didn't mean to pry. It's just that Gu Jingyan is too famous in the school. Everyone will look at her wherever she goes. If there's any movement, everyone will spread the news. Liu Beichen frowned. He still felt that it was impossible. Alright, these people love to spread lies. Don't mind them. Fu Chenxi said quickly. Oh, I know. After class, Liu Beichen hit Gu Jingyan with a paper ball. Hey, why did you go to Year 2's class to look for a man? Gu Jingyan said. What do you mean by finding a man? Isn't it you? Everyone's saying that you went to look for Tsung something. Tsung something again? Gu Jingyan's eyes widened. Sun Kai. Yes. This name is too hard to remember, he said. Gu Jingyan said speechlessly. What's there to spread? I'm just going to deliver something. Liu Beichen looked at her, and thought that it was as he had expected. With her attitude there should be nothing wrong. Tisk tsk. That's why I said that these people are really good at passing messages. You better be careful and don't go out and fool around. Get lost, you're the one who's seducing me. She turned around and threw the ball of paper back. Unexpectedly at this moment, someone at the door shouted, Gu Jingyan, someone's looking for you. Gu Jingyan nodded and walked out. It was Zeng Kai. Why are you here? Gu Jingyan asked. Zeng Kai said, Thank you for washing my clothes. I'll give you this to eat. Gu Jingyan saw that he was holding a strawberry in his hand. So many strawberries. It's not easy to buy them in this season. Yeah, my grandpa grew them himself. It's for you. They're really sweet. Gu Jingyan couldn't refuse. Thank you. She took it and looked at it. The people around her seemed to be looking at her again. Thinking about what Liu Beichen had said, she said, Well, I'll go in first then. I'm still doing my homework. Oh, okay. Go in. Bye. When she went back, Liu Beichen's neck was stretched out. When Gu Jingyan went out, some people were already talking happily. It's Zeng Kai. I heard that he's chasing after Gu Jingyan. It looks like it's true. You're looking for me today, and I'll look for you tomorrow. I think it's reasonable. Gu Jingyan is a good student. Will she have puppy love? What era are we in now to talk about puppy love? Seeing that Gu Jingyan had returned, everyone stopped talking. Liu Beichen looked at the strawberry in her hand and snorted coldly. Hey, what's this? He reached out to snatch it. Gu Jingyan dodged. Don't move. You don't want to eat strawberries. Hey, why don't I eat it? Strawberries are so sweet. They're obviously for girls. Hee. Don't tell me that she gave it to you, and you can't bear to let me eat it. What? I just don't want you to eat it and waste it. Hee, as if I care about it. Liu Beichen rolled his eyes. Gu Jingyan said, Yes. Young Master Liu doesn't care about a few strawberries. Don't fight with me then. Gu Jingyan opened the box and saw that the strawberries were washed. They were very clean. She picked one up and ate it. It was indeed sweet. Yeah, it tastes good. Liu Beichen looked at her eating contentedly. He gritted his teeth and snatched the strawberry. Gu Jingyan wanted to take it back, but Liu Beichen reached out and snatched it away. Hey Liu Beichen, what are you doing? I thought you didn't care about it. What's wrong? Can't I eat one? He stuffed it into his mouth. TSK, I thought it was something good. As he ate, he curled his lips in disdain. Gu Jingyan looked at him. She felt like she was going to die from anger. Hey, why are you fighting with me for it if you don't like it? She went over to snatch it back indignantly. Liu Beichen's hand was very long. He raised it high and refused to give it to her. Give it to me. Hurry up and give it to me. She jumped up to take it. But Liu Beichen raised it even higher. You. Gu Jingyan tried to snatch it again. She touched it, and the box of strawberries fell to the ground. Liu Beichen stomped on one of them and crushed it. You. Gu Jingyan's face darkened. She stood there and stomped her feet. Liu Beichen, you did it on purpose, didn't you? Liu Beichen raised his eyebrows. Looking at the strawberries on the ground, he took a step back and said nonchalantly, Io, there's nothing to eat now. Look at you, why are you snatching it? He dared to blame her? Gu Jingyan looked at him. Liu Beichen, you did it on purpose. You don't want to waste it if you don't eat it. How did I do it on purpose? Why? It's a gift from a man, and now it has fallen to the ground. Are you sad? Really, can't you be more mature? It's just strawberries. You. Gu Jingyan was really going to die from his weird tone. Isn't it just a man? If you want, I have a stack of them. I can introduce them to you one by one. There are so many better than Zeng Kai. Gu Jingyan stretched out her hands and pushed Liu Beichen's chest. Liu Beichen was pushed so hard that he leaned back and fell to the ground. Everyone looked at them curiously. What was going on between the two of them? Why were they fighting in the classroom? Gu Jingyan was too awesome. She even dared to hit young Master Liu like that. Chapter 1442. Gu Jingyan. How dare you push me? Liu Beichen shouted as he stood up. Gu Jingyan had already turned around and was about to leave. Just then Fu Chenxi came in. She saw Gu Jingyan walking out with a dark expression. Inside, Liu Beichen had just gotten up from the ground, looking pathetic. What happened to them again? Fu Chenxi hurried in. What's wrong, Beichen? She wanted to help Liu Beichen up, But when she saw the strawberries on the ground, she wanted to pick them up. Why are they all on the ground? But just as she reached out, Lu Beichen had already stepped on them. Why are you picking them up? They're just a pile of rubbish. Fu Chenxi was stunned. She felt that he was very angry. Just like that, Gu Jingyan quarreled with Lu Beichen again. After school they didn't leave together. She walked out on her own. Just then someone caught up from behind. Gu Jingyan, he called out as he came to Gu Jingyan's side happily. It was Sun Kai. Gu Jingyan said, "Oh, are you going home?" "Yeah." Sun Kai smiled. "Are the strawberries good?" Her face darkened at the thought of the strawberries. She was still angry at Lu Beichen. She smiled at Sun Kai apologetically. "They're good." Sun Kai smiled happily. "Really? As long as you like them." Sun Kai walked forward and saw that his car had arrived. "I'll take you home." This was the umpteenth time he had said this, but Gu Jingyan really couldn't go back with him. She said, No, I'll go myself." Sun Kai looked at her, his eyes darkening. "Gu Jingyan," he said in a deep voice. "Do you hate me?" Gu Jingyan paused. "How could I?" Sun Kai said. "Is it because I'm always looking for you? You're a little annoyed?" No. How could that be? Then why do you always seem to be avoiding me? If you think I'm annoying, you can tell me. Really, I don't want to annoy you. I just want to be friends with you." As he spoke, he blushed and lowered his head. His expression was self-explanatory. Gu Jingyan looked at him and didn't know what to say. She felt that Sun Kai was a good person. If they were just friends, of course they could. But looking at him now, he didn't look like he wanted to be friends at all. Gu Jingyan didn't want to hurt him. She sighed at him and said, "Sun Kai, I know you're very good to me, and you're a very good person too, but I'm really more focused on my studies now. We're still students." Sun Kai's face turned even redder. "I didn't think about anything else. As long as I can be good friends with you, I'm already very satisfied." Gu Jingyan nodded. "Then let's be friends." "Of course we can be friends. Thanks. I'm glad that you don't hate me." How could I hate you?" Gu Jingyan said with a smile. "Jingyan," she said. Sun Kai kept Tian and said, "I to Gu you and the." Later, Sun Kai would give Gu Jingyan things whenever he had something to do. He would help her carry this and that. The final exam was coming up, and everyone was very serious. Gu Jingyan did not have the energy to deal with other things. Famous schools were a little strict, especially when it came to exams. Everyone worked very hard, of course, except for people like Lu Beichen. They were still wandering around, as if they didn't know how to study. Ever since Gu Jingyan quarreled with him, she stopped caring about him. Even if they went out together, she would talk to old Sue and the others. Even though they met, they acted as if they didn't know each other. Fortunately, they were used to it and didn't care about their Cold War. They continued eating and drinking, but the two of them were in a Cold War. Neither of them said a word to the other. Everyone admired them and thought that they could control themselves. On this day, old Sue wanted to treat everyone to a barbecue in the wild. They held a barbecue outside. Gu Jingyan went with him. At the door she met Sun Kai. "Where are you going?" Sun Kai asked. Gu Jingyan said, "Oh, old Sue is holding a party. I'm going." "Oh really? You guys have so much free time." Gu Jingyan said, "Yeah, he likes crowds." "What about you? Where are you going?" "Home. There's nothing to do." He looked at Gu Jingyan enviously. "You guys are so close." Gu Jingyan said, "Don't you have a bunch of friends too?" "No, they're just ordinary friends. They're not like you guys. You guys are so close and do everything together." Gu Jingyan thought about asking him to come along. He sounded so pitiful. But she also felt that Lu Beichen didn't seem to like him. But on second thought, it had nothing to do with her if he didn't like him. Why should she care about him just because he didn't like him? Gu Jingyan said, "You can come too. It's not like you're going home anyway." Sun Kai said in surprise, "Really?" "Of course. It's nothing. There are quite a lot of people going." Sun Kai felt that anything that could be with Gu Jingyan was a good thing. He immediately nodded happily. They had to choose a good place for the outdoor barbecue. After all, the weather was starting to turn cold, and no one wanted to be outside. Of course, They didn't have to worry about these rich kids. They were very good at having fun, and could find any place. There was a huge bonfire in the middle of an empty plot of land. From afar, they could see the luxury cars parked far away. Gu Jingyan got out of the car, and saw Old Su and Little Q warming themselves by the fire. Fu Chenxi and Lu Beichen were sitting at the side. There were also a bunch of people, some of whom she knew and some of whom she didn't. Hehe Jingyan, you're here. Come over quickly, Old Su called out when he saw her. Lu Beichen glanced at her, and turned his head away lazily. However, Old Su suddenly said, "Hey, who did Jingyan bring?" Lu Beichen looked over in surprise. Behind them was Sun Kai. Lu Beichen's gaze deepened, and he couldn't help but sit up straight. Gu Jingyan came in, and called Sun Kai over. "Hey, I brought a friend. You guys know each other, right?" Old Su said. "Oh, we know each other. Welcome, welcome. Come over." Even if they weren't familiar with each other, they definitely knew each other. After all, the whole school knew that he was together with Gu Jingyan. Little Q looked at the two of them dubiously. It was obvious that he wanted to ask why they brought him here. Was there something going on? Gu Jingyan noticed his gaze and immediately glared at him, telling him not to let his imagination run wild. But Fu Chenxi said it out loud. "Wow, Jingyan, you brought him here. Did you guys succeed?" Gu Jingyan looked over. What? Chapter 1443. Sun Kai's face turned red, but he looked at Gu Jingyan expectantly, hoping that she would nod and admit it. Unfortunately, Gu Jingyan glared at Fu Chenxi. "What nonsense are you talking about? I'm just bringing a friend here to play." Fu Chenxi realized that she had said something wrong, and quickly covered her mouth. Sun Kai said, "Yes, we're just friends." Lu Beichen stared at him quietly, but there seemed to be a trace of suspicion in his gaze. Sun Kai smiled at him, and the corners of his lips curled up as he returned the favor. Sun Kai didn't think much of it. These people were the descendants of those rich families, who could easily change the situation in B City. They were naturally different from rich people like him. It was understandable that they were a little arrogant. It was Sun Kai's first time having the opportunity to interact with these people. Usually, they were more conservative, and didn't like to hang out with outsiders, especially those who didn't come from rich families. Sun Kai was also a little curious. He sat there and listened attentively as they chatted. Old Su teased Little Q. "Look, the sausage is getting smaller as you roast it. How is it? Does it hurt?" "Go to hell. You're the small sausage. Otherwise, why would you only flirt with girls and not have sex? Fuck, then I'm giving my precious first time to the woman I love." "Ha, you still have a first time? Didn't you give it to Miss Five Fingers?" "Go to hell. Every day is a new day. Don't you know that it's my first time every day?" Ha ha ha, how shameless. Sun Kai looked at them, and felt that they were really dirty. He didn't expect Gu Jingyan to be so close to them. It was also strange. Gu Jingyan's family background shouldn't be as good as theirs. How could they accept Gu Jingyan into this circle? Just as he was feeling strange, he heard them talking about Gu Jingyan again. "Jingyan, what are you doing? Come and eat," Gu Jingyan said. "What are you roasting? It's all done. What do you want to eat? Let me see." Gu Jingyan went over to get it. Little Q and Old Su were very considerate, and went over to give it to her. "Eat this. I roasted it. Get lost. Eat this. It's delicious." Gu Jingyan looked at Little Q's food in disdain. "It's burnt." Then he looked at Old Su and said, "Io, can this even be eaten? You rich playboys really can't do anything." "Hey, you're complaining? I've never barbecued anything for anyone before. I'll give it to you for the first time." "Oh, come on, I want it, don't I?" Sun Kai looked at them and felt puzzled. It seemed that their relationship was really good. They looked like good people, and they took good care of Gu Jingyan. Gu Jingyan was really bold. She talked to them so casually, and directly said that they were rich playboys. If it was someone else, they would have already offended them. But ordinary people would try their best to flatter these young masters. How could they say such things? Old Su and Little Q were quite polite to Sun Kai. Although they were not familiar with him, they still gave him face, since he was brought here by Gu Jingyan. But Lu Beichen really didn't even look at him. Although he didn't say it explicitly, Sun Kai felt that he was much more arrogant than the others. Gu Jingyan also noticed that Lu Beichen's expression was unfriendly, but it had nothing to do with her. Anyway, this was Old Su's body. Old Su wasn't unhappy, so why did he have such an expression? Fu Chenxi looked at Lu Beichen strangely from behind. Beichen, do you not like this Zeng Kai? Hearing Zeng Kai's name, Lu Beichen frowned. Lu Beichen said, "What's wrong with him? I don't even know him. There's nothing to like or dislike about him." Fu Chenxi said, "Yeah, but isn't he Jingyan's friend? Isn't he? Hey, don't. Just because she's her friend doesn't mean she's my friend." "Why don't you like him?" Lu Beichen said as he crossed his arms in front of his chest, acting as if it had nothing to do with him. Fu Chenxi said, "Really? I think he's quite an easygoing person. Why don't you like him?" Lu Beichen looked at her. "He doesn't look like a good person." Fu Chenxi said, "Really?" Lu Beichen harumphed. "Gu Jingyan is blind. Don't tell me you're going to be blind too." Alright, why are you talking about people like him? Eat our food." "Oh, okay then." Fu Chenxi could only pick up her food and start eating, not mentioning Zeng Kai again. The next day after class, the field was filled with people. There were many boys playing basketball, but there were also many girls surrounding them, because Old Su, Little Q, and Lu Beichen had actually come to play basketball today. The basketball court, which was usually very big, was immediately surrounded so tightly that it was almost impossible to see the people inside. Lu Beichen was bored, so he dragged a few people out to play basketball. Because he was so engrossed in the game, he was already drenched in sweat. When Gu Jingyan was dragged by Fu Chenxi to watch the basketball game, all three of their clothes were already wet. Beside them, the girls' screams were deafening. "Wow, Lu Beichen is so handsome. Why is his figure so good? Lu Beichen is so tall, and he plays basketball so well." Gu Jingyan was speechless as she looked at these infatuated girls. However, when she looked at Lu Beichen again, he was indeed very tall. He was already 1.8 meters, and she wondered if he would grow any taller in the future. Usually, it was hard to tell when he was wearing his school uniform. Now that his clothes were wet, his muscles were all over the place. It was only then that she could see how well developed his muscles were. He shook the sweat off his hair. He was good at basketball, and raised his leg to block the shot. Seeing this, the girls below screamed again. Fu Chenxi was even more excited. She clapped her hands and shouted, "Beichen, Beichen, all the best." When Lu Beichen heard the sound, he turned around and saw Fu Chenxi smiling. Then, he looked to the side and saw Gu Jingyan standing there with a cold expression. Lu Beichen snorted. He picked up the ball and blocked it beautifully again. However, Gu Jingyan was still expressionless. Lu Beichen gritted his teeth and turned his head away from the scene. However, the girls had already noticed that Lu Beichen was looking in Fu Chenxi's direction. They couldn't help but say enviously, "Fu Chenxi is so lucky." Gu Jingyan is also lucky. Because of her friend's relationship with Lu Beichen, she is now so close to him. Yeah, I wonder if Lu Beichen is looking at Gu Jingyan. I think so. Who knows if he is looking at Fu Chenxi or Gu Jingyan? At this moment, Zeng Kai came again. "Wow, Zeng Kai is here to look for Gu Jingyan," someone said. Zeng Kai went straight to Gu Jingyan's side. "Jingyan!" He took out a bottle of water. "Drink some water." Gu Jingyan quickly said, "Thank you." When Lu Beichen turned around, he saw Gu Jingyan talking to Zeng Kai with a smile. His eyes darkened. He didn't know what Zeng Kai was up to. Chapter 1444. Zeng Kai was still watching when he suddenly heard a voice above his head. "Hey, what are you looking at? Come up and play." Zeng Kai looked up and saw that it was Lu Beichen. Zeng Kai was delighted. This was the first time Lu Beichen had spoken to him. "Huh, you're calling me?" Lu Beichen's eyes lit up. "Of course." Zeng Kai looked at the others. Seeing that everyone was staring at him, he quickly nodded and said, "Sure." He walked into the court. Everyone was looking at him expectantly. Then Lu Beichen threw a basketball at him with great force. Zeng Kai took a step back and caught the ball, looking at Lu Beichen. Lu Beichen raised his eyebrows. "You go first." Zeng Kai said, "Oh, okay. I'll go first, but I don't know how to play. I hope you guys." "What are you talking about? Don't be so wishy-washy." "Yes. Sun Kai quickly dribbled the ball and started. However, Sun Kai was telling the truth. He was indeed not as good as them. He wasn't as tall as them, and he didn't seem to be athletic. Although he knew how to play, he looked a little comical compared to Liu Beichen and the others. He tried his best to run, but he was stopped by Elder Su in the middle of the court. He turned around and little Q came again. He was about to shoot when Liu Beichen appeared in front of him. The moment he jumped up to shoot, Liu Beichen had already rebounded the ball. When he jumped up, he was much higher than Sun Kai, and in an instant he hit the ball down. Sun Kai was embarrassed. He looked at him and smiled. "You guys are really good." Liu Beichen snorted. "It's nothing." Liu Beichen picked up the ball and threw it at Sun Kai's face again. Sun Kai could clearly feel that Liu Beichen was picking on him. He looked at Liu Beichen suspiciously. He didn't think that he had offended him. After all, who would dare to offend this little prince? He was the tyrant of Beijing. Did he want to die by offending him? However, it was obvious that Liu Beichen was hostile toward him. Although Liu Beichen was picking on him, he didn't dare to retaliate. She could only watch as he blocked in front of her again and again, easily snatched the ball away and threw it back to her. But she could do nothing about it. Because he really didn't dare to say anything to him, nor did he dare to confront him head-on. Beside them, the screams of the girls didn't stop. "Wow, Liu Beichen is so handsome." That's what everyone was saying. "Haha, Sun Kai is no match for Liu Beichen. Liu Beichen is so good at basketball. Liu Beichen is so perfect. Everything is so good." Everyone looked at Liu Beichen with infatuation. They felt that there was nothing better than him. He was rich, handsome, and so capable. Many people could tell that Liu Beichen was messing with Sun Kai, but they found it more amusing. Liu Beichen was so cool even when he was messing with people. Gu Jingyan noticed that something was wrong. She looked at Sun Kai, who was constantly being pushed back, but Liu Beichen had no intention of letting him go. Seriously, Gu Jingyan took a step forward. "Liu Beichen, that's enough." Liu Beichen stopped. Everyone turned to look at Gu Jingyan. Sun Kai was panting and sweating profusely. When he turned around and saw Gu Jingyan, he quickly said, "Jingyan." Gu Jingyan looked like she was going to fight with Liu Beichen. Sun Kai didn't want her to be hurt by Liu Beichen because of him. Liu Beichen looked at her and raised his eyebrows, looking evil and reckless. "What's wrong?" Gu Jingyan said. "Is it fun to play tricks on people?" Liu Beichen laughed. "It's fun." Gu Jingyan harumphed. "If you're so capable, go and play with people who know how. So what if you bully people who don't?" Liu Beichen held the ball in one hand and approached her. "What's wrong? Won't he still blame me?" Gu Jingyan said. "Everyone has their own specialties. So what if he doesn't know how to play basketball? Do you think you know how to play it? I haven't reminded you that your grades are not even half as good as his. He is still the top student in class. What about you? What are you? What's your last place again?" Liu Beichen's expression changed. Everyone looked at Gu Jingyan and pointed at her. This Gu Jingyan was too bold. She dared to provoke Liu Beichen just because she was the teacher's favorite. She wasn't afraid that Liu Beichen would teach her a lesson. She didn't want to give young Master Liu any face in front of so many people. However, to everyone's surprise, although Liu Beichen looked tense, he didn't really fly into a rage. He just inched closer to Gu Jingyan. Gu Jingyan raised her head and said nonchalantly, "What do you want? Am I wrong?" Liu Beichen gritted his teeth. Sun Kai hurried over and pulled Gu Jingyan back. "All right, Jingyan, they're just playing with me." As he said this, he reminded her softly, "Jingyan, don't mess with Liu Beichen. You can't afford to offend him. Even the school doesn't dare to do anything to him. Moreover, no one in Beijing dares to go against him. Don't be rash." Gu Jingyan turned around and looked at Sun Kai. "He's playing with you. Are you going to tolerate it? You don't have to tolerate it. Go and ask him why he treats you like this." Sun Kai's heart warmed. He thought that Gu Jingyan was really nice to him. She even dared to offend Liu Beichen for him. Forget it. Everyone in City B knows about Liu Beichen. Gu Jingyan snorted. "I'm not afraid of him." As Gu Jingyan said this, she took a step forward. Sun Kai was really shocked. He hurried forward and said, "Young Master Liu, if you have any problems, come at me." This has nothing to do with Gu Jingyan. Don't touch her. Touch her? Elder Su came over and said, All right, Sun Kai. Don't worry about them. You won't touch Gu Jingyan. She was the fourth daughter of the Gu family. If Liu Beichen dared to touch her, his family would break his legs. Was he trying to start a war between the rich and powerful? If the two most powerful families in B City were to fight, it would be very interesting. Of course, Sun Kai didn't know this. He was still worried. But, Elder Su said, Don't worry. Liu Beichen is just a paper tiger in front of Gu Jingyan. Sun Kai was curious. Why? However, just as Elder Su had said, Liu Beichen glared at Gu Jingyan. However, he only stared at her for a moment. Then, he snorted and brushed past her shoulder, walking past her. Gu Jingyan looked at him disdainfully and rolled her eyes in disdain. She wasn't speaking up for Sun Kai. It was just that she couldn't bear to see Liu Beichen bully people like that. He was too domineering, too arrogant, and too evil. Moreover, Sun Kai really hadn't offended him. She didn't know what was wrong with him. Or was he doing it on purpose, because Sun Kai was her friend? Because he didn't like her, he also disliked Sun Kai. Chapter 1445. As for Sun Kai, he looked at Gu Jingyan, feeling indescribably happy. It seemed that Gu Jingyan wasn't completely uninterested in him after all. Everyone was still sighing as they watched Liu Beichen leave. They were surprised that Liu Beichen didn't touch Gu Jingyan. How could Gu Jingyan be treated so well by Liu Beichen? They wondered if Liu Beichen was too nice to her. As for Sun Kai, he followed Gu Jingyan outside. Jingyan. Gu Jingyan turned to look at him. What's wrong? Sun Kai lowered his head and murmured, Really, thank you for being so nice to me. Gu Jingyan smiled. It's nothing. I just think that you're too honest. Why did you let him bully you? Sun Kai said, It's better to avoid trouble. Moreover, he didn't bully me. Isn't that bullying? Sun Kai laughed dryly. He stared at Gu Jingyan and said, Jingyan, I think that since you care about me, why must we only be friends? I think that we can be more than just friends. Gu Jingyan was speechless. She looked at him, not knowing what to say. She wasn't good at rejecting people. Although she had rejected many people in the past, it was only because she had no other choice. But she didn't hate Sun Kai that much. Moreover, he seemed like a good person. He had been taking good care of her as a friend. She couldn't reject him as harshly as she had rejected so many people in the past. She said, Sun Kai, actually, I only see you as a friend. That's why I helped you. Sun Kai looked at her in disbelief. That's impossible. That's going against Liu Beichen. You wouldn't dare to do it if you didn't have a deep relationship with him. Gu Jingyan didn't think that going against Liu Beichen was a big deal. She smiled and said, Didn't I say that Liu Beichen isn't that scary? It's nothing. Don't take it too seriously. No. Sun Kai grabbed Gu Jingyan's arm. Gu Jingyan's arm was really slender, fair and flawless. It was very endearing. Sun Kai didn't expect himself to be so bold, but once he was bold, he would be even bolder. He held Gu Jingyan's hand and said, Be my girlfriend. I know that I'm not as rich as Liu Beichen and the other rich kids who are close to you, but I can make sure that you don't have to worry about food and clothing for the rest of your life. I'm serious about dating you. Gu Jingyan's head felt heavy. She thought, It's over. He's so serious. She didn't know what to say to make him give up the idea. It has nothing to do with family background. Sun Kai, dating is about having feelings for each other. I'm serious, Jingyan. I'm telling the truth. Although they are rich, Liu Beichen has a bad temper. He's just a spoiled brat. He won't be able to bring you happiness, but I'm different. I can give in to you in everything. What was going on? Gu Jingyan really felt that things couldn't go on like this. Alright, Sun Kai, I don't have feelings for you. That's the most important thing. I'm leaving now. Calm down and think about it. Feelings are between two people. You can't just convince me like this. Jingyan. Jingyan. Sun Kai watched her leave quickly. He thought for a moment, and felt that he had been too abrupt today. He should be prepared to show her his sincerity next time. The next day, Gu Jingyan had just arrived at the classroom when she saw a bouquet of flowers on the table behind her. The surrounding students were envious of the huge bouquet of roses. Gu Jingyan naturally saw that it was Fu Chenxi's table. She heard her classmates say. Lu Beichen gave Fu Chenxi such a big bouquet of flowers for her birthday. Fu Chenxi is so happy. So many flowers. They look good. How much did they cost? Forget it. It's nothing to Lu Beichen. Gu Jingyan then remembered that it was Fu Chenxi's birthday today. But she didn't need their help today. Lu Beichen should be ready. Fu Chenxi came. Her eyes lit up when she saw the flowers on the table. She covered her mouth and walked over, looking happily at the flowers on the table. Today was her birthday. A month ago, she had hinted to Lu Beichen that he had forgotten about it. She didn't expect him to remember it. She held up the flowers. Seeing the students passing by looking at her with envious eyes, she felt even happier. Wow, Fu Chenxi, you're so happy. Fu Chenxi, Lu Beichen treats you so well. Everyone said to her as they passed by. Fu Chenxi blushed and said, I didn't tell him. Why did he give me flowers? Gu Jingyan smiled and turned around. Chenxi, happy birthday. But I don't have to help you prepare the party tonight. You two have gone to spend some alone time together, right? Fu Chenxi lowered her head in embarrassment. No way. I don't know what he's planning. He must have a plan since he gave you flowers, Gu Jingyan said. Fu Chenxi looked at her. For the first time, she felt that she was the happiest person in the world. Even Gu Jingyan probably hadn't received so many flowers, but she did. In an instant, she became the focus of the whole class. Her heart was filled with sweetness. Of course, Lu Beichen remembered it. He still had a romantic nature, because he was not a decent person to begin with. He liked to play with colorful things. He had already booked a candlelit dinner that night. When the sky turned dark, he skipped the self-study session and went out with Fu Chenxi. Fu Chenxi was worried that the teacher would find out, but Lu Beichen said, It's your birthday today. It's okay to be a little willful. So what if the teacher finds out? What can she do to you? This was the advantage of being with Lu Beichen. Although the school forbade puppy love, the teacher didn't dare to control Lu Beichen. So even if they knew about her relationship with Lu Beichen, they could only pretend not to know. Fu Chenxi looked at him sweetly and nodded. At the same time, Gu Jingyan was studying when she heard someone singing outside. Everyone couldn't help but look over. Downstairs, they saw Zheng Kai holding a guitar and arranging the candles in the shape of a heart. He was singing a love song to it. Wow, so romantic. Zheng Kai, what is he doing? Of course, he's going to confess to Gu Jingyan. Gu Jingyan looked over and felt a buzz in her head. She felt disgusted. She had already rejected him. What was Zheng Kai doing? Speechless, she looked over and saw the flamboyant words, Gu Jingyan, I love you. Gu Jingyan held her forehead and walked down under everyone's gaze. When Zheng Kai saw Gu Jingyan walking over gracefully, his heart started beating wildly. Gu Jingyan came up to him. He said, Jingyan, I really like you. Really? Chapter 1446. Gu Jingyan frowned. I've already said that I only see you as a friend. Zheng Kai, don't be like this, okay? Zheng Kai wouldn't give up so easily. Jingyan, I'll really treat you well. It's not about that. I don't like you at all. Zheng Kai chased after her and didn't move. Seeing that there were so many people watching, he hoped that she would give him some face and not reject him in front of so many people. Everyone's watching, Jingyan. Don't be shy, okay? Gu Jingyan was even more disgusted. No matter how many people are watching, I won't agree to your unreasonable request just because you're like this. Zheng Kai's face hurt. Jingyan, don't be like this. But Gu Jingyan wasn't going to give him a chance to talk. Okay, if there's nothing else, I'll be leaving. You should pack up and go. Gu Jingyan turned and left. Everyone was dumbfounded. They had thought that Gu Jingyan would be touched by such a romantic gesture. They didn't expect that she would reject him so decisively. Zheng Kai didn't expect that Gu Jingyan would be so heartless to him today. He chased after her and shouted, Jingyan, don't go. What did I do to make you so angry? You don't like it? I'm sorry, I won't do this next time. I really just wanted to give you a surprise. Gu Jingyan looked at him. There wasn't a surprise, but there were quite a few scares. Don't be like this. This is a school and we're still students. You're affecting everyone. I didn't think too much, but I really like you. Then I've already said that I don't like you. Let's go. Jingyan, no. I want you to give me an answer. Don't go. Zheng Kai grabbed onto her again. Jingyan, why are you treating me like this? Aren't you very concerned about me? You're willing to go against Liu Beichen for me. Why can't you be serious with me? I really need you. I feel that you're the most attractive girl I've ever met. Without you, I might not fall for anyone else, really. God, just because you like me, I have to be with you? What kind of logic is this? Let me go. She felt that he was going crazy and she couldn't explain it. No, don't go. I can't be without you. Gu Jingyan was helpless. At the same time, Old Su and the others had already found out about this, so they immediately rushed over. Old Su also called Liu Beichen directly. Liu Beichen slammed the table. Ha! I told you that Zheng Kai is not a good person. Unfortunately, Gu Jingyan wouldn't listen to me. She really asked for it this time. Fu Chenxi was shocked and quickly asked, "What's wrong? Beichen, what happened?" Liu Beichen said, "Gu Jingyan, let's go back first." What? Fu Chenxi looked at the steak that had just been served. She felt bad for Liu Beichen, but she had no choice but to follow him out. In school, Gu Jingyan was still saying to Zheng Kai, "Get out of my way. Don't follow me, okay?" Zheng Kai didn't agree. Gu Jingyan. As soon as he finished speaking, he felt someone pushing him away. They turned around. Liu Beichen had arrived. Zheng Kai did not expect Liu Beichen to come. He pulled Zheng Kai away and shielded Gu Jingyan behind him. There were a few others who came with him. Gu Jingyan looked up and said, "You guys," Elder Su said. I informed her. "How can we tolerate this person clinging to you like this?" Liu Beichen glared at Zheng Kai coldly and said, "Get lost." Zheng Kai had been chasing Gu Jingyan, and his face was glistening. He looked at them and became even more anxious. Gu Jingyan didn't agree to it at first, but they still wanted to interfere. It was said that a good girl was afraid of pestering a man. He had wanted to pester Gu Jingyan and make her agree, but now these people had appeared out of nowhere. Zheng Kai looked at them and said, "This is between me and Gu Jingyan." Liu Beichen harumphed and stood in front of Gu Jingyan. He looked at Zheng Kai and said, "Who do you think you are to talk to Gu Jingyan about the two of you? If she agrees, then it's your problem. If she doesn't agree, then it's our problem." Elder Su said, "Zheng Kai, you're wrong. Gu Jingyan already said that she doesn't like you. What are you doing?" Zheng Kai looked at them and said, "No, she still cares about me. Can't you just stay out of our business?" Little Q said, "Why would she care about you? You're so shameless. If you're a man, you should be more carefree. You're so wishy-washy. It's hard for Gu Jingyan to like you." I'm not being wishy-washy. This is when I really like someone. Shut up. If you really like someone, you're harassing her? Hey, you're not a man. I'll say it again. Get lost. If I see you harassing Gu Jingyan again, I won't let you off. Liu Beichen interrupted him rudely. Zheng Kai looked at him and said, What right do you have to do this?" Liu Beichen harumphed and said, "Why can't I do this?" Don't you have a bad relationship with Gu Jingyan?" Liu Beichen said. "Which eye of yours says that we don't have a good relationship? Oh, you mean that we're quarreling?" Liu Beichen turned around and looked at Gu Jingyan. Gu Jingyan pursed her lips and looked at Liu Beichen. Liu Beichen harumphed and said, "No matter how we quarrel, it's our private business. It has nothing to do with you. No matter how we quarrel, we're still friends. People like you won't understand that." Elder Su said, "That's right. We won't let outsiders bully Gu Jingyan no matter what." Zheng Kai looked at them in disbelief. Why were they so protective of Gu Jingyan? You guys. Don't tell me you want to do something to Gu Jingyan," Zheng Kai said viciously. Elder Su frowned and said, "What do you mean by that?" Zheng Kai said, "You guys want to do something to Gu Jingyan because she's pretty. Jingyan, don't fall for their tricks. People like them aren't good people." Elder Su laughed out loud when he heard that. "Come on, you don't even know Gu Jingyan. What do we want to do to her? I also need to have some guts. Let's not talk about other things. Her manly appearance is not my cup of tea." Zheng Kai didn't believe that and looked at Liu Beichen confidently. Little Q said, "Idiot. Don't you know that Gu Jingyan is the fourth Missy of the Gu family? If we want to bully her, we have to see if we have the guts to do so." Zheng Kai frowned and said, What do you mean by the fourth Missy of the Gu family? Elder Su laughed and said, I knew it. You don't know anything, and you still dare to chase after Gu Jingyan. She's the fourth Missy of the Gu family. Why don't you take a look at your family background and see if you're worthy of her? Chapter 1447. Sun Kai realized that something was wrong. Gu Jingyan, Gu Jingza. Suddenly, he realized which Gu family it was. How could he not know about the Gu family? But he had never connected the two of them together. He had heard about Gu Jingza from the adults in the Gu family. But how could he have heard about the other children in the Gu family and Miss Minglan in the Gu family? The fourth daughter of the Gu family. He muttered. He seemed to understand something. Why was Gu Jingyan so close to Liu Beichen? Why did Gu Jingyan dare to challenge Liu Beichen? Because they were the same kind of people. She didn't have to be afraid of Liu Beichen. He looked up at Gu Jingyan. At that moment, he felt that she was terrifyingly tall. It was such an unattainable feeling. He really wasn't good enough for her. Sun Kai looked at her. But he really did like her. Liu Beichen pushed Sun Kai away. Did you hear that? Get out of my way. If I see you following Gu Jingyan again, I can't guarantee that I won't use violence. Sun Kai looked at Liu Beichen angrily. What right do you have to control us? Was it because he wasn't good enough for her that she was rejecting him? Jingyan, is status really that important? I love you from the bottom of my heart. Is it because you think I'm too poor that you're so cruel to reject me? Gu Jingyan shook her head and looked at him. Alright, Sun Kai, I've said it before. Status isn't the main point. The main point is that I don't want to be in a relationship with you. That's all. What else do you want? Sun Kai almost fell to his knees. Don't go, Jingyan. Jingyan, don't go. I really like you. When he came over, Liu Beichen pushed him away. Don't be so shameless. Don't touch Gu Jingyan. Sun Kai looked at Liu Beichen. Don't stop me. It has nothing to do with you. I'm talking to Gu Jingyan. He still insisted on coming over. At this moment, he was probably stimulated and seemed to have lost his mind. Jingyan, don't leave me, he shouted, trying to get away from Liu Beichen to grab Gu Jingyan. Liu Beichen grabbed his collar. What are you doing, Cui Kai? Sun Kai looked at him. What do you want? You want to hit me? Liu Beichen's eyes narrowed. I've gone easy on you. Liu Beichen threw a punch at him. Sun Kai couldn't fight back at all. He wanted to fight back, but Liu Beichen was good at beating people up. He kept throwing punches at Sun Kai. Gu Jingyan was worried that something bad would happen, so she quickly pulled Sun Kai down. Alright, Liu Beichen, stop fighting. Let's go, let's go. Sun Kai fell to the ground. Liu Beichen snorted and said, I'll say it again. If you dare to get close to Gu Jingyan again, I'll beat the crap out of you. Having said that, Liu Beichen dragged Gu Jingyan out. Sun Kai didn't dare to chase after him. The bystanders were all wondering why Sun Kai was beaten up so badly by Liu Beichen. Wouldn't Sun Kai's family cause trouble for him? Later, Sun Kai was picked up by his family. The incident had blown up. From the confession to the beating, the school couldn't pretend to be deaf and mute. They could only call them to the administration office. Gu Jingyan stood there with her hands behind her back. The teacher hadn't arrived yet. Liu Beichen leaned against the wall, tiptoeing and looking like he didn't care. Fu Chenxi looked at him helplessly. You were too ruthless, Liu Beichen said. He won't know what's good for him if I'm not ruthless. Gu Jingyan looked at Liu Beichen. Although you're right, his family will definitely cause trouble for us. Liu Beichen said, You're right. Why should we be afraid of them? It's fine. I'll deal with them. Gu Jingyan said, Forget it. How are you going to deal with them? The confession and the candles were clearly written with my name on it. It has nothing to do with me. Just then the teacher came in. The few of them shut their mouths and stopped talking. The teacher looked at the few of them who had their heads lowered. He looked outside and closed the door carefully. Then he sighed and said, Look at you. Look at you. He walked past them one by one. Liu Beichen didn't have a good time since he was here. He caused trouble every day. He couldn't help it. The school had brought trouble upon itself. He looked at Liu Beichen and said, I can't do anything about this. I've already informed your parents. Liu Beichen looked up. Teacher, you're too heartless. Heartless. The teacher was furious. Then he looked at Gu Jingyan. Look at you. Jingyan, look at you. You were the student I trusted the most. He had arranged for her to stay by Liu Beichen's side, so that she could teach Liu Beichen well. Little did he expect that Liu Beichen would lead her astray. Then he looked at Fu Chenxi. He didn't have much to say to her, so he just glanced at her, and then ignored her. Fu Chenxi lowered her head, feeling uneasy. The two behind her were each more serious than the other. These people weren't easy to manage, but they just had to cause trouble for no reason. Just then, Lu Qinyu had arrived personally. The principal welcomed Lu Qinyu in. The teacher quickly nodded and retreated to the back. Seeing this person walk in with such an imposing manner, the whole room felt suffocated. Liu Beichen frowned. He didn't know what to say. Dad. Don't call me Dad. You still remember that you have a father. He looked at Liu Beichen hatefully. Liu Beichen said, Dad, the whole school knows that this is all because of Gu Jingyan. Lu Qinyu looked at Gu Jingyan. Gu Jingyan said embarrassedly, Uncle. Lu Qinyu sighed. It's okay. I know you're a good child. Don't hang out with this unfilial son of ours anymore. She's a bad influence. The principal didn't dare to interrupt and just watched from the side. Lu Qinyu saw Fu Chenxi. Fu Chenxi stood there, looked at him, and carefully revealed a smile. Liu Beichen was standing next to Fu Chenxi. They were standing shoulder to shoulder, and seemed to be quite close to each other. Lu Qinyu was a sly businessman in the business world. There was nothing he couldn't see. In an instant he seemed to understand something. His eyes paused. What's your name? Fu Chenxi was so scared that her face turned pale. I'm Fu Chenxi. Oh, Fu Chenxi. Which Fu family? From B City. Why don't I know of any Fu family in B City? In an instant, Fu Chenxi felt even worse. She wasn't from the famous Fu family in B City. She was just an ordinary person. Chapter 1448. Liu Beichen said, What Fu family? Haven't you heard of the Fu family? It's just a family name. Seeing that Fu Chenxi was in a daze, Lu Qinyu understood what was going on. He chuckled and said, Oh, it's nothing, young lady. I was just asking. If you have time next time, come visit us. There's a banquet at home these few days. Let Beichen take you there. Fu Chenxi was even more stunned. What did this mean? Liu Beichen's father was inviting her to a banquet? Fu Chenxi was pleasantly surprised. What did this mean? Did Lu Qinyu acknowledge her? She didn't dare to agree, and looked at Liu Beichen. Liu Beichen said, Oh, okay. Old man, you said it. I'll take you there then. Lu Qinyu frowned. Speak properly. Liu Beichen remembered that they were outside. Dad, what banquet? Why don't I know about it? What else do you know besides causing trouble? Lu Qinyu smacked him on the head. Ouch! The teacher looked on and didn't dare to make a sound. He thought to himself, Isn't he here to teach me a lesson for causing trouble? He's not here to acknowledge me as his daughter-in-law. Just then, a man who looked like a butler walked in. He was dressed in a suit and looked very formal. Seeing Gu Jingyan standing inside, he hurried in. Miss, how are you? It was the butler of the Gu family. Gu Jingyan looked at him and said embarrassedly, I'm fine. I'm sorry for troubling you. Miss, don't say that. This is what we should do. Does anyone else in the family know about this? Gu Jingyan only told the butler because the school had informed her parents to be informed. She didn't want to tell her grandfather or mother, otherwise, there would be more trouble. The butler said, The family doesn't know. Don't worry. The butler saw Lu Qinyu and quickly greeted him. Hello, Mr. Liu. Oh, okay. Sigh. Remember to tell your family that it's all our son's fault for leading your daughter astray. Lu Qinyu looked like he was about to cry. The butler looked embarrassed. No. Their parents arrived one after another, but Fu Chenxi's hadn't arrived yet. Fu Chenxi herself didn't want to call anyone over. She didn't even dare to let anyone see her parents' sloppy appearance. The teacher looked at Fu Chenxi. Where are your parents, Fu Chenxi? Fu Chenxi trembled. Gu Jingyan saw this and said, Teacher, this has nothing to do with Chenxi. She's such a good girl. Although she won't do anything to her parents will be worried if they really think that she did something bad at school. The teacher looked at Gu Jingyan and sighed helplessly. However, He didn't want to lose his temper with Gu Jingyan. Children who were good at studying and had powerful parents were hard to control. They had to be spoiled. Fu Chenxi glanced at Gu Jingyan gratefully, and Gu Jingyan smiled back at her. However, Fu Chenxi still felt disappointed. Her teacher would listen to her words, but he wouldn't care about what she said. This was different. Fu Chenxi looked at Gu Jingyan. She felt that she didn't want anyone to help her either. She wanted to say what she wanted to say, and someone would listen to her. However, she just couldn't do it. She couldn't be as confident as Gu Jingyan. At that moment outside, the people from the school said that Zheng Kai's family had come, and they wanted an explanation. Zheng Kai was alone at home. Although Zheng Kai's family was wealthy, they doted on Zheng Kai very much and never lacked anything from him. His family had sacrificed so much for this son, but he was actually beaten up. How could they sit still? Especially now that Zheng Kai was not only beaten up, he was also sent to the hospital in a daze. There were a few times when he didn't want to live anymore. This made his family even more furious. They wanted the school to give them an explanation on how these people had tortured their son and why he didn't want to live anymore. The school was in a difficult position. They looked at Zheng Kai's shrewish mother and said, "Mother Zheng, we've already made it clear that we will deal with the people who beat him up according to the law. No, I want to meet them first. I want to see how you're going to deal with them. I heard that these people aren't to be trifled with. They're all children of rich families. Why? Are you trying to fool our family just because we don't have much backing? Our family donates a lot of money to the school every year." This was also one of the reasons why they felt that it was unfair. Their family had given a lot of money to the school to take care of Zheng Kai, but now he had been beaten up at school. "Sai, you'd better. Wouldn't it make things worse if they met him?" The school didn't want the matter to blow up. At that moment, everyone in the school heard it. Because Zheng Kai's mother had really blown up the matter. They understood which family's child had been beaten up. It wasn't like this. Lu Qingyu was the first to make the decision. He said, "All right, don't be in a difficult position. I'll go over and talk to them." "Mr. Lu, you're really..." When the school saw that Lu Qingyu was going to come over personally, they were very grateful. Lu Qingyu walked out. "You're Zheng Kai's mother, right?" "I'm Liu Beichen's father." He smiled and walked over. However, Zheng Kai's mother looked at him and cried out agitatedly, "All right, it's your child who beat our Kai up like this, right? You have to give me an explanation. Where's your child? Is he protecting him? This matter isn't over yet. No matter how much money we have to spend, we have to settle this matter. Do you really think that you can protect your child just because you have some money?" Lu Qingyu hurriedly said, Yes. I can understand that you're emotional. This matter is our child's fault. I'll definitely teach him a lesson when I get back. We'll pay for any expenses your child incurs, be it treatment fees, recovery fees, or even compensation." "Ha, you want to settle this with money? No way. Where's the person? I have to see your son. I'm going to beat him until he's a cripple. I want him to know what it's like to be beaten up. I'll bring him over to apologize later." "I don't believe that you'll go and apologize." "Really? You're just putting on airs. You're not a good person." Sigh. At that moment, Liu Beichen couldn't take it anymore. He ran out of the classroom, and the teacher didn't even have time to hold him back. Liu Beichen came out and said, "Ha, I'm the one who beat him up. What do you want?" Zheng Kai's mother was shocked. She looked at him and said angrily, "What do I want? You little rascal. How dare you hit our child?" Liu Beichen narrowed his eyes and said, "Why don't you ask what your child did first? He insisted on confessing to my friend downstairs. She didn't agree to it, and he wouldn't let her go. He almost did something bad on the spot. Luckily, he didn't touch Gu Jingyan. Otherwise, I would have slapped his face and broken his legs." Chapter 1449. "Hey you." Zheng Kai's mother was so angry that her face turned red. "How can you say that?" Liu Beichen said. "Aren't you going to ask what your son has done?" Ha, my son." No matter how silly she was, she understood what he meant. Her eyes moved before she said, "What's wrong? Can't young people fall in love? Who has he taken a fancy to? Which little vixen has started seducing our son at such a young age? Seriously, it's her honor that our son has taken a fancy to her. Why don't you take a look at yourself? He only confessed to you, and you even hit him. Does she really think she's a fairy? At this moment, Gu Jingyan could only step forward. She stood up and said, "It was me, but I really didn't seduce your son. He was the one who initiated the conversation and confessed to me. You've asked clearly. I didn't do anything. I even advised him to study hard every day. I said that students should mainly study. Relationships and whatnot should be put aside, right?" When Gu Jingyan stood up, Zheng Kai's mother's face darkened. This girl was beautiful, and anyone who saw her would like her. Who cared about her son? Zheng Kai's mother thought that her son really had no self-control. But now that she had made a scene here, she would definitely stand on her son's side. "But you can't hit him. It's wrong," she said. "Ha, he confessed to you because he thinks highly of you. What are you thinking about hitting him?" He confessed to her because he thought highly of her? This was the first time Gu Jingyan had heard of this. Shouldn't feelings be mutual? Shouldn't she be deeply grateful and thankful to the heavens, just because someone confessed to her? She said, "I didn't say anything when he confessed, but I rejected him. He still wouldn't let me go, and even threatened me to be with him. My friend couldn't take it anymore and hit him. We have to apologize for this. But I hope that you know that everyone is at fault, and that we should apologize to each other." Gu Jingyan wasn't just good-looking for nothing. She was also eloquent. She didn't know how to refute her. After all, Gu Jingyan's eloquence didn't come from scolding people as vixens, but from her strong aura and self-confidence. She stood there and talked seriously, so people would feel a sense of oppression when they saw her. She was also very curious as to why she would feel this kind of pressure because of a little girl. She composed herself and said, "Aya, my child was beaten, and I still have to apologize to you." "That's one thing," Gu Jingyan said. At this moment, Lu Qingyu hurried over from behind. "Oh, what's going on? Is your kid confessing to Jingyan? And now he's pestering her? Heh, that's different. We don't want to talk about it anymore." "Really?" When Lu Qin and Yu Guang heard that Lu Beichen had gotten into a fight, they rushed over immediately. Who knew that something like this would happen? Lu Qingyu said, "Jingyan is such a good child. Your child has been affected so badly by others, and you still have the cheek to ask us to apologize? Humph." Lu Beichen saw that his father was actually on his side for the first time. Then he looked at Gu Jingyan. She was indeed more capable. She didn't even know if he was her biological son. He believed her the moment she said something. Lu Beichen said, "That's right. I'm just saying that she wants to study well." He ran downstairs and confessed to her in front of so many people. It's not good for her. In the future, people will only think about this when they look at Jingyan. How can she study well? It'll affect her mood. Lu Qingyu turned around and said, "What's wrong with your school? How can you let something like this happen in school? Have you considered the impact on the children?" The principal was so shocked that he almost knelt down. "Mr. Lu is right. You're right. We didn't think it through properly." Lu Qingyu harumphed. "Then hurry up and think about it." Yes. The principal hurried over and said, "Educate the students. This kind of thing must not happen again in the future." Zheng Kai's mother wanted to continue, but Lu Beichen had already walked over and said in front of everyone, "You can sue me or cause trouble for me. Remember that my name is Lu Beichen. Don't bring anyone else into it. From now on, Gu Jingyan will be under my protection. If Zheng Kai dares to cause trouble for Gu Jingyan, he'll have to look for me first." Humph. Are you even a man? You. Aya, this child is too arrogant. How can you speak to your elders like this? You have some money in your family. What kind of bully is this? Zheng Kai's mother could tell that this family was rich. How could a child from a rich family be so arrogant and fearless? Wasn't he a complete bully? Lu Qingyu walked to the back and looked at Lu Beichen, and then at Gu Jingyan. He smiled and said, "Beichen, you even hit someone for Jingyan." Lu Beichen said, "Of course. I won't let anyone bully my friend." He bumped Gu Jingyan's shoulder and said, "If anyone is to be bullied, it should be me, right?" Scram. Gu Jingyan bumped into him back. This kind of interaction seemed to be very pleasing to Lu Qingyu. He smiled so widely that his eyes narrowed. He stared at them for a while. The more he looked at them, the more he liked them. However, he accidentally glanced at Fu Chenxi, who was staring blankly at the side. He immediately stopped smiling. What a pity, what a pity! Was there something wrong with their Lu Beichen's brain? With such a good girl like Gu Jingyan by his side, he actually fell for Fu Chenxi. Fu Chenxi also noticed Lu Qingyu's gaze. That burning gaze made her heart skip a beat. She suddenly felt even more afraid. Everyone went back together, and the few of them were still talking. Lu Beichen said to Gu Jingyan, "You're lucky this time. We were close by and rushed back when we heard about it. If we were far away, you would have been bullied to death." Gu Jingyan looked at him deeply and said, Yes. I understand. Thank you." Fu Chenxi said from behind, "Yeah, Jingyan. Didn't you see how worried he was? When he heard that something happened, he ran away without even finishing his meal." Upon hearing Fu Chenxi's words, Gu Jingyan clapped her hands and remembered. Oh no. The few of them were shocked. Gu Jingyan said, "Today is Chenxi's birthday. You should have eaten together." Now she had come to school to be scolded. Fu Chenxi lowered her head and smiled. She pursed her lips and said, "It's okay. What happened to you is more important. Birthdays are celebrated every year. It's not a big deal." However, Gu Jingyan still felt embarrassed. "Forget it. Next time we're going to Lu Beichen's house for a banquet. Come to my house, and I'll help you dress up as a princess. When the time comes, Lu Beichen will bring you to celebrate your birthday." Chapter 1450. Fu Chenxi looked at her and said embarrassedly, Do I really have to go? I'm a little worried." "What's there to worry about? Just treat it as a fun trip." "Are you going?" Fu Chenxi looked at Gu Jingyan. Gu Jingyan said, "I don't want to go. I think the Gu family was invited, but we don't have to go. I have supplementary lessons that day. I won't disturb you guys." Fu Chenxi was overjoyed. She actually felt that it would be better if Gu Jingyan didn't go, because she always felt that if Gu Jingyan was there, she wouldn't have a say in anything. She stood there as if she didn't receive any attention, because all the glory would be taken away by Gu Jingyan alone. Perhaps it would be different if she went as Lu Beichen's girlfriend, since it was the Lu family's banquet. Just as Gu Jingyan finished speaking, old Su objected. "Don't. What are we going to do if you don't go? Let's go. It doesn't matter whose banquet it is. Let's go and have some fun." "But I really have supplementary lessons. You're already so studious. Why do you still need supplementary lessons?" Gu Jingyan said, "That's different. I have high expectations for myself. I'm on holiday next month, but there's a math competition. I'm going to participate in it." Sigh, it's scary. Even the best student is so hardworking. "Then what's the use of our hard work?" "That's right. It's fine if she doesn't go. We'll go to the banquet ourselves." Fu Chenxi heaved a sigh of relief. She felt that she would be very happy if she didn't go. Was this not good for her? But she couldn't help but think so. She followed Gu Jingyan to the Gu family's house. It was morning and the house was very busy. Gu Jingyan told the servants not to come. Fu Chenxi watched so many servants walk out in a row, and said to Gu Jingyan, "You have so many servants in your house. I think you're really like a princess." Gu Jingyan looked around and said, "If you really have so many servants, you'll know how annoying it is. They have to take care of everything. When you go to the toilet, they even want to follow you to check what color your urine is, whether it's healthy, and whether there's anything wrong with it." Fu Chenxi said, "That's because they care about you. Sigh, sometimes it's very troublesome. Let's not talk about this. Let's look at the clothes." Gu Jingyan didn't complain too much to others. Anyway, others wouldn't understand. She had been under these gazes for too long. Sometimes, she felt that there was no space for herself. However, she was not pretentious. Sometimes, having someone to take care of her would save her a lot of trouble. For example, she really did not need to clean the room herself. She was actually quite lazy. With the help of a servant, she did not need to worry about these things. Soon he entered Gu Jingyan's cloakroom. There were huge houses here, row after row, and all of them were the latest clothes of the year. There were all kinds of styles. Looking at the brands, they were all international brands. Gu Jingyan looked around, trying to find something suitable for Fu Chenxi. Fu Chenxi said, "You have a lot of clothes." Gu Jingyan said, "Yeah. Sometimes when there are new products every season, these brands will send a few sets to my house." The big brands also like to find socialites to promote their brands. It seems that if a powerful socialite wears it, it will look like a big brand. However, they always give me a loss because I rarely attend these events. I'm not like some socialites who are really powerful. For example, Liu Beichen's sister. I wonder if you've met her. Her sister is the top socialite in Beijing. Ah, is that so? I've never heard Liu Beichen mention her. She's not much younger than us, but she likes these things more. She doesn't go to a normal high school like ours. She goes to an international high school, so she doesn't have much contact with us. Fu Chenxi looked at her. I feel that I really don't know much about Liu Beichen. Gu Jingyan smiled. You'll get to know more slowly. Fu Chenxi really felt that she did not know as much as Gu Jingyan did. Moreover, they were usually more talkative. When Liu Beichen was with her, he did not talk much, and did not like to talk about himself. For example, she did not even know that Liu Beichen had a sister. Gu Jingyan found some clothes for Fu Chenxi. Everyone tried them on, and they all looked good. Fu Chenxi really felt that these branded clothes were indeed branded. They all looked good in them. Gu Jingyan had better taste than Liu Beichen, so the clothes that she chose were more suitable for her than the ones that Liu Beichen had brought her to choose previously. Gu Jingyan was also very satisfied. She took a few sets and said, "You can take these and see which one you want." "Ah, you're giving all of these to me?" "Yeah. I don't wear them much anyway. The butler will give them away soon after I leave them at home. Rather than giving them to others, I might as well give them to my own people." Fu Chenxi looked at her gratefully, and touched the clothes as if they were treasures. She really envied her. The clothes that she could not even think of were like cheap goods to her. Fu Chenxi said, "Thank you, Jingyan." "You're welcome. It was also because of me that you didn't have a good birthday. I'm making it up to you this time." "I'm really not." Fu Chenxi felt a little embarrassed that she had deliberately told her. "Isn't it what we should do to save you? We're friends." Gu Jingyan smiled. "Yeah, we're friends." Soon it was the day. Gu Jingyan went for supplementary lessons, while Fu Chenxi went to attend the Liu family's banquet. Gu Jingyan's supplementary lessons were actually in the day. They would only hold the banquet at night. But Gu Jingyan did not want to go. She did not like to attend such banquets. She would rather stay at home and read more books. Unexpectedly, he received a call from old Su right after class started. "Jingyan, it's so lonely without you." "Go to hell." "Jingyan, seriously, are you coming? If you don't, Beichen and I won't have anything to say." "Go, go, go. I'm that useful." "Of course. Usually, you guys just quarrel with each other, and we think it's quite fun. But now that you're not around, Liu Beichen doesn't talk much, and Fu Chenxi doesn't have much to talk about. Little Q and I are too lonely." Did she usually talk a lot with Liu Beichen? Gu Jingyan did not think so. But when she heard him say that, she remembered that they quarreled easily. It was because Liu Beichen's mouth was too dirty. When he saw her, she would always talk back to him. Of course they quarreled. Gu Jingyan said, all right. I have to go to class." She hung up. Old Su looked at little Q. "She's too passionate about studying. She won't come." "That won't do. Let's go and find her." "All right." The two of them drove to the supplementary lessons center. He stood at the entrance and whistled at Gu Jingyan. Chapter 1451. As soon as Gu Jingyan raised her head, she was really shocked. "Wow, so handsome. There's a handsome guy at the door. Who is it? They even drove here. Are they students? How can students drive?" The teacher also looked out, and when he saw the two hooligan-looking handsome guys he frowned. Gu Jingyan had no choice but to walk out. "What are you doing? Who told you to come?" Gu Jingyan shouted, her hands in her pockets. The two of them pulled Gu Jingyan. "All right, what's the point of tutoring? Let's go and play." "Sai no." Gu Jingyan couldn't resist in time and was pulled out. In the end, Fu Chenxi still chose a brighter color to go to the Liu family. She struggled at home for a long time before choosing this color. Because it was the Lu family's banquet, she was really nervous. She just wanted to put on her best performance for the Lu family, for Lu Qingyu, and for Lu Beichen. She didn't want to embarrass him. Her family saw that she was dressed so beautifully and thought it was strange. When Fu Chenxi left, she didn't even want to look at her parents. She felt that it was unfair for her to be born into such an ordinary family. Her parents looked at her and asked, "Chenxi, where are you going? Why did you put on makeup? You're a student, and you can't put on makeup." Fu Chenxi frowned and said, "What do you know? I'm going to a banquet where I have to put on makeup." "What? You're a student and you're going to a banquet? You won't understand even if I tell you. So annoying." Fu Chenxi opened the door and walked out. She was usually a very obedient child. Her family didn't know what had happened to her for her to suddenly have such a big change. Fu Chenxi walked far away, before getting into Lu Beichen's car. She didn't ask Lu Beichen to pick her up at a place nearby. Lu Beichen saw Fu Chenxi and smiled. "Nice clothes. You have good taste." Fu Chenxi's eyes moved and she smiled. Really? Gu Jingyan had picked out the clothes for her, but she didn't mention it. Soon, it was the Lu family's banquet. The venue of the banquet was much better than the one in the school. It looked like a very classy place. When she went down, she looked up and was amazed. When she saw the 7-star sign hanging there, she knew that this was a 7-star hotel. When she went down, Lu Beichen had already walked over. She hurriedly followed them and looked at the people who came. They were all tall and beautiful, and there were countless of them. That was much better than the banquet at school. Originally, Fu Chenxi was very confident that she wouldn't be a disgrace to Lu Beichen. As long as Gu Jingyan didn't come, she wouldn't embarrass Lu Beichen. However, she didn't expect to see so many beautiful women here. She suddenly felt that she was very lowly. She clenched her fists even tighter. She looked at Lu Beichen, as if she did not dare to follow them. Lu Beichen didn't notice her abnormality. He turned around and said, "Let's go." Fu Chenxi hurriedly walked over. It was only when they entered that they realized that the lobby was filled with toasts, and there were even celebrities walking by. Fu Chenxi said, "There are so many beauties." Lu Beichen nodded. Fu Chenxi looked at him tentatively. "Can't you see? There are so many beauties." Lu Beichen said, "What does it have to do with me?" Fu Chenxi lowered her head. "No, I just don't want to embarrass you." Lu Beichen said helplessly. "What are you thinking? I won't. They are them and I am me. Who cares about me?" But even so, there were still many people who noticed Lu Beichen the moment they walked in. After all, this was the Lu family's banquet and Lu Beichen was the heir of the Lu family. How could they not notice him? Fu Chenxi then realized that Lu Beichen was really amazing. The adults who looked like senior officials and executives all bowed and bowed to him. But Lu Beichen didn't pay any attention to any of them. Fu Chenxi wondered how powerful the Lu family was for everyone to be so afraid of them. Then, "Beichen, you're here." Someone called out, "Your father is inside. Hurry up and go in." Lu Beichen nodded and let Fu Chenxi in. "Lu Beichen, what took you so long? I've been helping you deal with Dad for a long time." The woman inside was dressed in a warm yellow dress. She looked beautiful and elegant. She was young but looked like a princess. Lu Beichen said, I know. You can leave first." "Hey, you're not going to care about me after using me. What kind of brother are you?" The girl stood with her arms akimbo. This girl was Lu Chuxia, Lu Beichen's sister. When Fu Chenxi heard this, her eyes lit up, and she came to a realization. Lu Beichen pushed Lu Chuxia away. Lu Chuxia snorted. She noticed Fu Chenxi at the back and frowned. "Who is this? It's none of your business." Lu Beichen pulled Fu Chenxi inside. Fu Chenxi looked at Lu Beichen. "This is your sister?" "Yeah, don't mind her. She's always been sick in the head." "How could that be?" Fu Chenxi turned around. "I think she's very pretty. No matter how pretty she is, it doesn't change the fact that she's sick in the head," Lu Beichen said. "What's sick in the head? Who are you talking about?" Lu Qingyu said. Fu Chenxi saw Lu Qingyu and immediately lowered her head. Lu Qingyu saw her. "Oh, you're here." Lu Qingyu smiled. "Nice clothes. Where did you borrow them?" Fu Chenxi was stunned. Lu Beichen frowned. "Dad, Since when did you start to study women's clothes? Lu Qingyu turned to Lu Beichen and said, if you're free, bring your friend around. But you have to be careful. There are quite a lot of people here today, so don't run around. Don't let people see you. Got it, got it. You're so long-winded. Where's Jing Yin and the others? Why aren't they here? Lu Qingyu asked. Gu Jingyin is having tutoring. She won't be coming, Lu Beichen said. Lu Qingyu nodded in approval. Jingyin is a good girl. She's smart and studious. She's so hardworking. She's like the Gu family. Students should focus on their studies. She's not bad. She's studious, and won't let these trivial things affect her studies. Fu Chenxi's heart sank. Lu Qingyu turned around and said, young lady, you're also in their high school. How are your studies? What rank do you usually get in your exams? Fu Chenxi was even more speechless all of a sudden. She had always been bad at her studies. She had only been able to get in because of luck. After she got in, there were so many good students. She would be lucky if she could get a good rank in her exams. Moreover, after she got together with Lu Beichen, she had been influenced by him, and her studies had deteriorated. She stammered and didn't know what to say. Lu Qingyu raised an eyebrow. Chapter 1452. Lu Qingyu didn't say anything. He just sighed and smiled at her. However, this made Fu Chenxi feel even worse. She had a feeling that she had been rejected. Especially if Lu Qingyu had said it directly, she wouldn't have guessed blindly. However, he didn't say it. Lu Beichen said, Dad, what's wrong with studying well? This is a banquet, not a parent-teacher conference. All right, Chenxi, let's go inside and eat. However, at this moment Lu Chuxia came over again. She looked at Fu Chenxi with a surprised expression. At first, she didn't know who she was. Moreover, she didn't pay any attention to this ordinary girl at all. After hearing Lu Qingyu's words, she was confused. Could it be that this girl was Lu Beichen's little girlfriend? That was too ordinary. Lu Chuxia snorted and looked at her. What's your name? Why haven't I seen you before? Fu Chenxi was interrupted by her arrogant voice. She flinched and said, I'm Fu Chenxi. Oh, I've never heard of you. Who's your father? Lu Beichen frowned. Lu Chuxia, that's enough. What are you doing? Lu Chuxia was very direct with her words, especially with people she looked down on. Brother, who is this? Is she your girlfriend? So what if she is? Nothing much. It's just that. Lu Chuxia snorted and looked at her. What kind of taste do you have? Fu Chenxi's whole body swayed when she heard that. Her legs turned to jelly. Lu Beichen looked at her and pulled Lu Chuxia over. Lu Chuxia, what are you doing? He said coldly. Lu Chuxia said, What's wrong? Can't I tell the truth? Lu Chuxia turned around and looked at Fu Chenxi. Really, she's not good looking. You have so many beauties around you. Why did you choose this one? Are you stupid? Lu Beichen snorted. Beauties? People like you. Forget it. You have low EQ and are annoying. You have no manners. Hey, who are you talking about? Lu Chuxia angrily put her hands on her waist. You don't know who I am? Don't you take a good look at yourself? You're angry that I said that about your girlfriend, but I meant what I said. She's not good enough for you. It's not up to you to decide if I'm worthy or not. After Lu Beichen finished speaking, he turned around and could not be bothered with her anymore. He turned around and pulled Fu Chenxi away. Fu Chenxi was really sad. She pushed him away awkwardly. Don't pull me. Lu Beichen turned around and said, All right, don't worry about her. Lu Chuxia, if it weren't for my sister, I would have kicked her out of the house long ago. She's selfish, willful, and blabbermouthed. Fu Chenxi shook her head. She felt that she was right. She was too ordinary. Lu Beichen said, Don't take her words seriously. Fu Chenxi said, I'm a little too ordinary. How is it ordinary? I think you are very good. Fu Chenxi looked at him. Really? Of course, it's not up to her to decide whether he's ordinary or not. Fu Chenxi's heart was finally a little comforted. Yes, no matter how ordinary she was not ordinary in Lu Beichen's eyes. Wasn't that enough? At this moment, someone suddenly muttered. Did you see that? The fourth miss of the Gu family is here. The fourth miss of the Gu family? Which fourth miss? It's that fourth miss who never shows her face. Didn't you see her? She's very beautiful. No wonder the Gu family covers her up so tightly. If she were to show her face every day, she would probably not be able to hide it anymore. There would be a queue from B city to S city to kidnap her. Everyone looked over. Unexpectedly at this moment, Gu Jingyan walked in from outside. The strange thing was that she did not wear anything special. She only wore a sweatshirt when she came. It was not that Gu Jingyan did not want to wear it. It was just that she was dragged here by old Su and the others, so she did not even have time to change. However, it was true that clothes make the man, but not Gu Jingyan. Gu Jingyan, who was only wearing a sweatshirt, looked even more youthful with her skinny figure wrapped in the sweatshirt. Everyone saw Gu Jingyan walk in like that. She was chatting and laughing with her friends beside her, and they started discussing. Youth is really invincible. She came to the banquet without wearing any makeup. Does she need to dress up? She is the fourth miss of the Gu family. Dressing up for you? You think too highly of yourself. She is the center of attention even without dressing up. Exactly. She looks good in sweatshirts just like you. You need to put on so much powder to cover up your wrinkles. And she is the fourth miss of the Gu family. She does not need to give face to anyone. She does not care what you think of her. She does not care how you look at her. That is the best life. Gu Jingyan did not know that she was just here to have fun, because she did not have time. She did not think too much about it. Fu Chenxi was speechless. She stood there and looked at Gu Jingyan, who was wearing simple clothes, but still became the center of attention. This was because of their different family backgrounds. Fu Chenxi smiled bitterly. Seeing Gu Jingyan walk over, Liu Beichen said, "I thought you were not coming? They dragged me here by force," Gu Jingyan said. Liu Beichen looked at the other two and said to Gu Jingyan, "Since you are here, have fun. Let's go, I will bring you in." At this moment Lu Qixia arrived. When she saw Gu Jingyan, she was stunned for a moment. However, she wouldn't underestimate Gu Jingyan at all. She quickly walked over and said, "Sister Jingyan, you're here." Gu Jingyan turned around. "Ah, Qixia, I have not seen you in a long time." "Yeah, I missed you. You did not come to my house to play. You were not here when I came." "Aya, Sister Jingyan, you just came out with this outfit, right? I saw a celebrity wearing it. It really suits you. You look so skinny in it." Gu Jingyan smiled. "Really? I did not know." Lu Qixia said, "You definitely did not know. You focus on your studies every day. Anyway, your housekeeper will bring it over for you. I am just the housekeeper. I do not know anything about fashion. I have to find one myself." Gu Jingyan smiled. Fu Chenxi looked at Gu Jingyan from behind. She gritted her teeth. Was it because Gu Jingyan had a good family background? Or was it because Lu Qixia had to compliment her no matter what? Fu Chenxi did not expect Gu Jingyan to be so popular. Everyone was so afraid of the Gu family. Liu Beichen saw that Lu Qixia had come again, and pulled her to the side. "Alright, if you have nothing to do, go out. Why are you here?" Lu Qixia said. "Why did you pull me?" Liu Beichen said. "You are always complimenting Gu Jingyan." Lu Qixia said. "Why? I do not admire anyone but Gu Jingyan. Look at her. She has such an aura. She does not need to dress up. She just stands there and looks so imposing. Moreover, she is so good at her studies and works so hard. She knows everything." The Gu family's genes are good. Although Liu Beichen thought that she was exaggerating, it was true. Chapter 1453. Gu Jingyan was already a sight to behold, just by standing there. When Gu Jingyan walked in, Lu Qingyu had already come out to welcome her. "Ah, I was wondering why you didn't come." "Uncle Lu, they insisted on dragging me here. Look, I didn't even change my clothes, and I came here to embarrass myself." "Sai, why change your clothes? Just treat it as your own home. You don't have to be so formal. It's still a banquet. Moreover, you look beautiful no matter what you wear." "Ah, look, Elder Gu is so lucky to have such a beautiful daughter. I'm so jealous of her." "Uncle Lu, isn't Qixia beautiful? My mother is so jealous of you. Qixia is so sensible and so capable. She's now the #1 socialite in Beijing. I'm too inflexible. My mother always says that if she had someone as beautiful as Chuxia, she would definitely exchange me for her. Who didn't like people praising their children? No matter how much they liked other people's children, they would still like their own children. Hence, when Lu Qinyu heard what she said, his eyes narrowed into a smile. Then let's exchange next time. Really, our daughter always causes trouble. She can't even stop worrying about us. You should teach her a lesson next time. Yeah, if only we could neutralize each other, wouldn't it? Ah, how could there be such a good thing? Lu Qinyu said. In the eyes of others, this kind and loving look was very harmonious. They couldn't help but sigh. These two top families had such a good relationship. It was really enviable. However, everyone was saying that Lu Beichen's girlfriend was someone else. This was surprising and inconceivable. Fu Chenxi had heard the conversation between Gu Jingyan and Elder Lu clearly. Gu Jingyan was really good with words. Moreover, she looked natural and unrestrained. She didn't back down at all. The people at the side were all saying, "The Gu family has such a good daughter. She's so likable. And she's so good with words. Her entrance and entrance are perfect. She has the demeanor of a big family." Fu Chenxi had already left quietly. She stood at the side and watched. She didn't know what to feel. Perhaps she shouldn't be thinking that way. But at this moment, she felt a little resentful. If she had such a good family background, she wouldn't have to go out and look at others' faces. It was a pity that her family was so ordinary, not even slightly rich. How could she compare with so many top rich families here? After exchanging greetings with everyone, Gu Jingyan followed them to the back and sat down. They found a seat and sat down, but Fu Chenxi was nowhere to be seen. Gu Jingyan said, "Where are Chenxi and the others?" Lu Beichen didn't see her either. He looked around and said, "She probably went to the bathroom." Gu Jingyan looked at him and said, "You're your girlfriend. Why don't you watch her?" Lu Beichen said, "She's an adult. How could she get lost for no reason?" Gu Jingyan shook her head. She watched as Lu Beichen lowered his head to eat. He didn't look like the type who would care about his girlfriend. Fortunately, she was not his girlfriend, otherwise, she would have been angered to death by him. It had to be said that he was a good person to be friends with. Gu Jingyan was opening a drink. Seeing that she couldn't open it, Lu Beichen took it from her and opened it. Gu Jingyan said, "Thank you." "You're welcome." Gu Jingyan looked at him and said, "Actually, you're quite a good person when you're not fighting." "Of course. I've always been a good person, okay? Hee hee. Really, Gu Jingyan, you're always prejudiced against me. We've known each other since we were young. Even if I bully you, that's between us. Don't worry. If anyone dares to touch you, I won't let them off. Because we're friends, understand?" Gu Jingyan laughed and looked at him as she said, "All right, I know that if you weren't so flamboyant, domineering, and arrogant, you'd still be a good person. Yeah, if you weren't so barbaric and unreasonable, you'd still be a good person." "You, what? You talk about me first." Gu Jingyan glared at him forcefully. However, everyone looked at each other and smiled. Everyone was making a ruckus here. Not long after, they saw Fu Chenxi return from the other side. But she didn't look well, and seemed to be feeling unwell. Gu Jingyan poked Lu Beichen and said, "Go and see what's wrong with Chenxi." It was only then that Lu Beichen realized what was going on and hurried over. "What's wrong?" "Nothing, it's just that. I feel like I'm going home." "Are you feeling unwell?" "Yeah, a little." "Let's go then. I'll send you home." Fu Chenxi looked at him, and didn't say anything. She just nodded. The two arrived at the Fu family's house. Lu Beichen opened the car door for her. Fu Chenxi looked at him and said, "Beichen, what's wrong?" "I think." "What's wrong? Tell me. Do you like me?" "Of course." Lu Beichen looked at Fu Chenxi and said, "Are you my girlfriend?" Fu Chenxi shook her head and said, "Then are you with me because you like me?" "Of course. But I don't understand. Why do you like me?" Lu Beichen didn't think too much about it. He was indeed a hedonistic son of a rich family. Because of his family's wealth and power, he didn't think too much about the things he did. He just did as he pleased. Fu Chenxi saw that he didn't say anything, so she bit her lip and got out of the car. She closed the car door and went inside crying. "Hey Chenxi, Fu Chenxi, what are you doing?" Fu Chenxi cried and said, Go away. I don't want to see you. What's wrong? What did I do wrong that you don't want to see me? Liu Beichen obviously didn't understand and felt that it was strange. He didn't say anything. Fu Chenxi stood at the door and said, Are you just playing with me? Are you with me because you think I'm fun? Why would you think that? Was he that kind of person? Definitely not. He had never thought of it that way and had never behaved that way. He felt that he had behaved quite well. Why would she feel that way? Don't let your imagination run wild. It must be. You're so rich. You can play with anyone you want, but don't play with me, okay? Go away. I don't want to see you anymore. Don't disturb me anymore. Liu Beichen really didn't understand what was wrong with her. He listened to her go upstairs. He didn't know how much time had passed, but she didn't pick up his calls. He stood there and shouted, but no one responded. He could only curse in his heart. He felt a little depressed and left just like that. Fu Chenxi really didn't think that he liked her in any way, especially when she saw that so many people felt that she wasn't worthy of him. She felt even more worried. Was he playing with her? Would he leave her? Had he never been serious with her? She didn't know and her imagination ran wild. Chapter 1454. Liu Beichen was bewildered. The next day, Gu Jingyan listened to Fu Chenxi. I think we should forget about it. Liu Beichen and I are not a good match. She was not in a good mood when she said this. Gu Jingyan said, What do you mean by a good match? It's not what others say. Why do you think they're not a good match? It's just that. You are from the same world. So we are from the same world but you never quarrel with him. So you are not from the same world. Fu Chenxi looked at Gu Jingyan. Do you really think we are a good match? Isn't love about feelings? How can it be about compatibility? If you feel the same, then you are a good match. Just tell me if you like him or not. Gu Jingyan just said it simply. She would never care so much about other people's love affairs. Fu Chenxi bit her lower lip. She liked him very much, and it was because she liked him that she felt insecure. Fu Chenxi did not go to class, but followed Gu Jingyan to the tuition class. As they walked, Gu Jingyan stopped. All right, he's here. Have a good talk. If there's nothing else, I'm leaving. Fu Chenxi looked back and saw that Liu Beichen was already walking over. She stared blankly at Gu Jingyan, who already knew what was going on. She realized that Gu Jingyan had secretly informed Liu Beichen. Fu Chenxi did not know what to say and could only lower her head. Gu Jingyan said to Liu Beichen, Treat me to a meal next time. Liu Beichen smiled and gave her an okay gesture. Gu Jingyan turned to leave. When she turned back, she saw that Liu Beichen was talking to Fu Chenxi, and Fu Chenxi lowered her head as she spoke. It seemed that they were going to reconcile. She gave him a deep look before leaving. The final exams came quickly and Gu Jingyan got first place in the whole school. As for Liu Beichen, he did not fall behind and got second place in the whole school. Everyone was in disbelief. The teacher was also surprised. What was wrong with Liu Beichen? When Fu Chenxi saw the results, she was also surprised. Gu Jingyan turned around and looked at Liu Beichen. Didn't you say that you didn't want to study? Liu Beichen raised his eyebrows and leaned back proudly. I just want to tell you that it's not that I can't learn well. It's just that I think it's too easy, and I'm too lazy to learn. Look, with just a little effort you'll catch up. Gu Jingyan was a little surprised, but Fu Chenxi was even more confused. She had thought that Gu Jingyan and Liu Beichen were in a different world from each other, since they were not good at studying. Unexpectedly, Liu Beichen had secretly. In fact, only Liu Beichen knew about this. He couldn't bear to see Gu Jingyan being praised by others for being so good at studying, so smart, and so amazing. He thought that as long as one worked hard, anyone could learn well. Studying was such a simple thing. Therefore, he had been working hard in secret. But he didn't expect that after working hard for more than a month, he still couldn't beat Gu Jingyan. He was a little unwilling, especially when he saw that the numbers were only a dozen points off. But on the surface, he pretended that he didn't use any effort at all, which made people gnash their teeth. The teacher praised them and said happily, I'm very happy. This time, there are 2 students in our class competing for the top 10 places in the school. The first place is still Gu Jingyan. She has been the first place in the school for the past year. and she is the pride of our class. There is another student who I really admire, and that is Lu Beichen. After half a year of hard work, he has now entered the top 10 places in the school, and now he is in the 8th place. He is competing with Gu Jingyan, which is something to be proud of. Now please come up to the stage and share your experiences. Gu Jingyan turned to look at Lu Beichen. He had already jumped up and waved at Gu Jingyan. Gu Jingyan had no choice but to follow him. Fu Qinxi watched from below. She could only feel her hands clenching tightly again. The sight of them standing on the stage together was so glaring. It made her feel as if the distance between them was getting further and further away. Why was it that they were so good at everything? Even their brains were so good, and they could do so well in the exams just by studying. But she, who had worked so hard, could only hover in the last few places. This really made her feel very sad in her heart. When the two of them finished sharing their experiences, Fu Qinxi was already gone. No matter what, the winter break had arrived. During the break, Gu Jingyan was still working hard in her studies. As for Lu Beichen, he was still sloppy. He only met Fu Qinxi occasionally, and the rest of the time, he was busy at home. However, when he sent Fu Qinxi home, Fu Qinxi's parents found out that Fu Qinxi and Lu Beichen were dating. "Qinxi, who was that just now? Why did you come back in a car?" Once Fu Qinxi got home, her family immediately pulled her aside and questioned her. Fu Qinxi said impatiently, "That's none of your business. Qinxi, you're a girl. You can't walk the right path. You're still so young. Don't tell me that you've been tricked by those old people." "Mom, what nonsense are you talking about? That's my classmate, not some old person." "What? We don't believe you. Qinxi, don't try to lie to us." "Mom, why would I lie to you? She's really my classmate. My school is so amazing. Do you know how many amazing classmates there are?" Her parents looked at each other and understood at once. "Then tell me, are you in a relationship?" Fu Qinxi's face had already turned red. Her parents immediately came up with a plan. Although she was too young, and it was not good for her to be in a relationship. When she went to that school, she had heard from others that it was an amazing school, and there were many rich people there. It would be a lie to say that she was not tempted. If she really found a rich man there, and married him in the future. Their Qinxi's parents knew that it was luck that she was able to get into #1 middle school. It did not mean that she had the ability. In the future, if she relied on her to get into a university and get a job, there would be no hope. It would be better for her to find a better family and marry. However, they did not expect that this matter would soon surprise them even more. The Lu family was not an ordinary family. The next day, the few of them arrived at Fu Qinxi's house. The people outside were shocked to see a few cars stop at the Fu Qinxi's house. Fu Qinxi's parents were even more surprised. After they got out of the car, they saw a tall man in his 40s walking down. "Is Fu Qinxi your daughter?" Chapter 1455. When Fu Qinxi came back, her parents were already cheerfully saying to her, "Qinxi, you should break up with Lu Beichen." Fu Qinxi looked as if she had been struck by lightning. She looked at her parents and asked, "What's wrong?" Fu Qinxi's parents said, "Lu Beichen's father came just now. He's right. The difference between you two is too big. Lu Beichen is still young, and he's just playing with you. Don't fall for it. When you get sick of him, and he leaves you, you'll be left with nothing. You'd better be smart and leave him now. Don't wait until you lose both you and your money." "Lose both you and your money? What did they give you?" Fu Qinxi's parents were a little embarrassed, but they still told the truth. "They gave us 10 million. That's a lot of money. They're really rich. Qinxi, you should leave him. Otherwise, you won't get another chance like this." 10 million. 10 million. Should she feel honored that their family was willing to spend 10 million yuan on her? 15 minutes later, Fu Qinxi ran out of the house. Half an hour later, she appeared in front of the Lu family's house. Lu Beichen rushed out after receiving the call. He looked at Fu Qinxi and said, "What's wrong?" Fu Qinxi grabbed Lu Beichen and said, "Beichen, tell me, do you like me?" Lu Beichen said, "I do." He had been answering Fu Qinxi's question recently. He felt that Fu Qinxi was really too sensitive recently. She kept asking the same question. Fu Chenxi looked up at him and said, "Then will you really be with me for the rest of your life?" What? Lu Beichen had never thought about these questions. They were still so young. A lifetime was so long. Who knew? Chenxi, listen to me. No one knows what will happen in the future, right? Shouldn't we take things one step at a time? Fu Chenxi's hand suddenly fell. Lu Beichen said, "Hey Chenxi." Fu Chenxi pushed Lu Beichen away and said, "You're all lying to me. Lying to me." Fu Chenxi turned and ran away. "Hey Chenxi." Lu Beichen called out, but Fu Chenxi didn't turn around. Lu Beichen thought that he would look for her tomorrow and ask her what had happened. Who would have thought, after Fu Chenxi left, she did not return. The next day, when Lu Beichen went to look for her, he saw that the Fu family had already moved out of their original place quietly. Lu Beichen blew up and started searching the entire world. "Gu Jingyan, did Fu Chenxi look for you?" Lu Beichen called Gu Jingyan. Gu Jingyan said, "What's wrong? What happened to Chenxi? She didn't look for me." "Really? No, I don't believe it. She's gone. She's only friends with you. You must know something." Gu Jingyan paused for a moment and said that they would talk about it when they met. The two of them met outside, and Gu Jingyan handed a letter to Lu Beichen. When Chenxi left, she said that she felt that the two of you were not from the same world. You would eventually leave her, so it was better for her to leave first. "You." Lu Beichen grabbed Gu Jingyan forcefully. "Why didn't you stop her? Why didn't you tell me first?" Gu Jingyan said calmly, "Lu Beichen, wake up and think about it. If she wants to leave, it means that she feels insecure. Is it because of me? What's the point of getting angry at me?" Lu Beichen knew that he had neglected this. For a period of time, Fu Chenxi had been behaving strangely, but he had never paid attention to it. Lu Beichen left Gu Jingyan's place in a daze. He wondered if he had really done something unforgivable. Otherwise, why would Fu Chenxi leave without saying a word? She didn't even give him a reason. The new year wasn't good. There was no news of Fu Chenxi the next semester, or the semester after that, until the university entrance exams. Gu Jingyan was not surprised. She was accepted into the best university in B City Q University, and Lu Beichen was also accepted into that university. He had to stay at the university. Gu Jingyan had to go overseas for further studies, so she was late for a few days. Carrying her luggage, she thought to herself, if she had known earlier, she would have told her family that she was coming back today. But since she was already here, she couldn't be bothered to call her family. She scrolled through her contacts and called Lu Beichen. At this moment, Lu Beichen was still in the school bar. Drinking. "Wow, young Master Lu, you're so good at drinking. Young Master Lu, why are you so handsome?" At the bar next to the school, there were many students from the surrounding universities. When he arrived, he gathered a few girls, including Old Sue and Little Q, and the group was noisy. Lu Beichen said, "All right, you guys drink. I'll give these to whoever drinks the most." As he said that, he threw $1 million watch on his wrist onto the table. Everyone's eyes lit up, and they began to drink even more excitedly. "Young Master Lu is so generous. Young Master Lu is so generous." Everyone looked at Lu Beichen. They were really attracted by his handsome and extravagant appearance. Today, they were so lucky to meet Lu Beichen here. The women all wanted to get closer to him. They didn't know what kind of person it was to be his woman, but they felt that it must be a very honorable thing to be his woman. Just then, the phone that Lu Beichen had thrown aside rang. Lu Beichen didn't see it, but a woman saw it and picked it up. "Hello Lu Beichen, come over." The woman who was holding the phone was stunned. "Who is this? How could she be so rude? Who are you?" "Young Master Lu is busy." Gu Jingyan heard it and realized that it was a woman. She chuckled. Ever since Fu Chenxi had left, Lu Beichen had really become more promiscuous. She was used to it. She snorted and said, "Let Lu Beichen answer the phone." "Huh? Who do you think you are to answer the phone, just because you said so?" "I'll say it again. Let Lu Beichen answer the phone. If not, you'll bear the consequences." "Huh? Who do you think you are? You want young Master Lu to answer the phone, just because you want him to? Are you his woman? Young Master Lu is with us now and he's very busy. He doesn't have time to answer your phone." Gu Jingyan took a deep breath. At this moment, Liu Beichen realized that his phone was missing. He looked up and saw a woman holding his phone. He frowned and said, "What's wrong? What are you doing?" The woman quickly took the phone and said, "Young Master Liu, look. There's a fierce woman on the phone. She wants young Master Liu to answer the phone. Judging from her tone, she dares to talk to young Master Liu like that. I'm helping young Master Liu to teach her a lesson." "A fierce woman?" Liu Beichen snatched the phone away. Elder Su said, "Could it be Gu Jingyan? She seems to be coming back from overseas." "Ha, it must be her. She's so fierce," little Q said. Chapter 1456. Hello, Liu Beichen. I don't care what you're doing. Come over and help me carry my luggage. I have a lot of luggage, and I can't carry it back. Also, I don't know how to drive. Hurry up. Okay. I'll go right away. Who told you to come back? I'll be there in half an hour. Also, what are you doing? Where did that woman come from?" Liu Beichen looked at the woman coldly. The woman trembled in fright. Liu Beichen said, "Nothing. I'll go over now." He put down the phone and tugged at his shirt. "Don't touch my phone." The woman's face darkened in fright again. Seeing that Liu Beichen had left, she patted her chest and said, "Who was the one who called? She was so fierce." Old Su pursed his lips. "You guys don't know. Next time don't provoke her. Seriously, is she really that powerful? How dare she be so fierce to young Master Liu? Yeah, who is she? How can young Master Liu tolerate her? Anyway, she's someone you can't afford to offend." Old Su was too lazy to talk to them, and got up to leave. Liu Beichen picked Gu Jingyan up, and carried her to school with a large number of bags. They moved into the dormitory building. When they entered the dormitory, there was no one inside. At this time, most of the students were studying. After all, this was Q University, the top university in the country. There were many good students. Liu Beichen said, "Ayo, looks like there are many pretty girls in your dormitory." He looked around the dormitory and said, All right. It's good enough that the dormitory manager let you come up. Hurry up and leave. That's because the dormitory manager can't resist my charm." Yes. You're so flirtatious." Liu Beichen looked at Gu Jingyan. "You're just jealous." Gu Jingyan said, "All right, I'm almost done packing. You can leave first." "Okay, I'll be leaving then. Call me if you need anything. Don't stand on ceremony." "Of course. Your mother told me before she came that you're a girl, and that I should take care of you. She was supposed to take care of her, but he made it sound like she was taking care of her." Seriously, Gu Jingyan also knew how long-winded her mother was. She must have been nagging Liu Beichen a lot. Because this was Gu Jingyan's first time staying on campus, they were still a little worried. After saying that, Liu Beichen left. Gu Jingyan began to tidy up. This was a 4-person dormitory. It was quite standard. There was a desk below and a bunk above. The other 3 looked quite clean. They had already tidied up, and there was nothing wrong with it. At this time, the other 3 also returned. Because they had been in class for many days, they were more familiar with each other. They came in and talked and laughed. "Hey, the person from our dormitory is here." Everyone looked at Gu Jingyan in amazement, and their hearts were written all over their faces. What a beautiful girl. She was a woman that even women would be moved by. "Are you our roommate?" "Yes, hello everyone. My name is Gu Jingyan." Gu Jingyan greeted them with a smile. "Wow, hello. Everyone introduced each other, and chatted for a while before going about their own business. As they worked, they discussed among themselves. "Oh, Gu Jingyan, did you hear that Liu Beichen came to our dormitory last night? I don't know who he's here to see off." Gu Jingyan paused and said, "Oh really? What's wrong with Liu Beichen? Is he famous?" "Wow, of course. You came late, so you don't know him. He's so handsome. It's the first time I've seen such a handsome man. And he's super cool. And he's so good at his studies. I heard that his results are very high. He's young Master Liu. His family is very powerful. Didn't you see that he usually drives a Maserati or a Ferrari? He doesn't even have a car that costs less than 1,000,000 yuan. I didn't expect him to be in the same school as us. I'm so proud." Gu Jingyan thought that this man was indeed flirtatious. He had only been here for a short period of time, but he had already won over all the girls in the school. The next day, Gu Jingyan went to class. When she reached the classroom, she saw that everyone was already there. She found a seat and sat down. When the teacher was teaching, the students in the class were secretly looking at Gu Jingyan. Because she came late, Gu Jingyan was not familiar with her classmates. However, everyone was not familiar with her either. For example, they didn't know that there was such a beautiful girl in the class. Is she the new one? Is she from our class? I've never seen her before. She's so beautiful. She's mine. I'm going to confess later. Get lost. Don't fight with me. Gu Jingyan sat there and didn't hear it. However, her roommates who were sitting together saw the attitude of the people in the class. Wow, Gu Jingyan, you've captured so many men the moment you came. Yeah, I think they're all crazy. Although the beauty in the same dormitory made them pale in comparison, they were quite proud to be in the same dormitory as Gu Jingyan, because she was really too beautiful. After all, they had suddenly become the focus of the class. Gu Jingyan looked up and said speechlessly, "What's going on?" "Because you're too beautiful." Gu Jingyan raised her eyebrows. After class, she saw that a few people were already eager to come over. However, before they came over, old Su had already called. "Jingyan, do you know where the cafeteria is? Come over." Gu Jingyan said, "Okay, I'll be right there." Because she wanted to eat with them, Gu Jingyan didn't go with her roommates. When she went outside to find the cafeteria, she realized that Q University was much bigger than she thought. She had no choice but to pull a random guy along. "Excuse me, where's the cafeteria?" The guy was surprised. He didn't expect that the goddess that everyone was talking about in class would actually talk to him. The cafeteria is over there. Do you want to go? I can bring you there." "Really? Thank you so much." Gu Jingyan smiled. The boy was really going crazy. Looking at her smile, he only felt that for this kind of smile, he only felt that he could only do anything for her. "You don't have to be so polite. We're classmates." "Oh really? What a coincidence." "Yeah, you came late, so you don't know anyone." "Yeah, I just came back, so I came a little late." "My name is Lu Yi. I sat behind you in class today." "Really? Hello, I'm Gu Jingyan." "Yeah, when you came, someone in class already said your name. It's a nice name." "Haha, really? Thank you." Gu Jingyan smiled as she followed him to the cafeteria. He felt really honored. As they walked, he said, "Look, the guys next to me are probably dying of envy." Gu Jingyan looked around. There were indeed a lot of people staring at them. Louis said, "I won't be surrounded, will I? I think they all want to kill me." "You're exaggerating." Chapter 1457. Of course. There are more boys than girls in our school. We do have pretty girls, but it's the first time we've seen someone as beautiful as you. Gu Jingyan smiled. "You're really good with words." Lu Yi immediately scratched his head shyly. He looked very simple and honest. Gu Jingyan couldn't find the others when they entered the cafeteria, so she found a place to sit down. "Let me help you get the food. I know which window has the best food," Louis volunteered. Gu Jingyan didn't care and let him get the food. Louis returned quickly and saw a commotion at the entrance. Someone shouted, "Look, it's Liu Beichen." Liu Beichen walked in coquettishly with a basketball in his hand. He was talking and laughing with old Su and the others, and he even winked at the pretty girls beside him. God, I feel like I'm going to get pregnant just by looking at him. Wow, look, is Liu Beichen looking at me? Gu Jingyan saw that the cafeteria had suddenly become a place for chasing stars. Everyone was screaming at Liu Beichen, so she couldn't be bothered to eat with Liu Beichen and the others. He was too attractive. It was better for her to stay here and eat. Louis looked at Liu Beichen enviously. Sigh, how can there be such a perfect man in this world? Gu Jingyan looked at him in surprise. No way, you like men? What? How is that possible? Then you're smitten with a man, Gu Jingyan said. Louis quickly explained. I like women, okay? I'm just envious of him. He has such a good family background, so rich and so handsome. Sigh. It's because of him that we're nothing compared to him. It'll be harder for us to find a girlfriend in the future. Come on, Gu Jingyan said. They're just fooling around. Who would really want to be with him? Why not? Didn't you see the school forum? There are so many women in the school who are willing to give birth to his children. Don't you like a man like him? I think that since you're so pretty, you'll definitely find such a good-looking man as your goal. I'll look for anyone but him. Don't worry. Really? You're not interested in him? Louis looked like he didn't believe her. Gu Jingyan said, Of course I'm not interested in him. They were good friends, but he was so arrogant when he had nothing to do. His style was completely different from hers. How could they possibly see eye to eye? Louis looked at Gu Jingyan with interest. What type do you like? Anyway, I'm not your type. Gu Jingyan hadn't forgotten the ridiculous things that happened between her and Sun Kai, so she was very decisive in her rejection of people. From the beginning, she didn't leave any leeway. Sure enough, Lu Yi's hopeful eyes immediately dimmed. He sat there dejectedly and curled his lips speechlessly. However, he was just asking with a little hope. He didn't mean anything else. How could he fall in love with her at first sight? It was just that she was too beautiful, so it felt good to be with her. Gu Jingyan finished her simple meal. During the meal, Lu Beichen called and asked her why she didn't go with them. She directly said that she had already eaten and was too lazy to go with them. Although the two of them were in the same school and department, they were not in the same profession. His major was economic management. She majored in finance. It was difficult to get into Q University. There would definitely be many future elites in her class. After the class, Lu Beichen called. Didn't we say that we would welcome you? You've been back for a day, and you haven't come to see us. Are you hiding from us? It's because you're too busy and I didn't want to disturb you. Busy? What am I busy with? You're busy flirting with girls. Get lost. Which eye of yours saw me flirting with girls? I'm being surrounded by girls. I can't bear to see them sad, so I just casually said a few words to them. Hee. Thinking about this man's frivolous attitude, Gu Jingyan found it hilarious. Alright, Gu Sei next to the school is here to welcome you. Hurry up and come. Alright. Ever since Fu Chenxi left him, he had been bewitching. However, even though he was bewitching, he would never date anyone. Gu Jingyan was used to it. Soon they reached Gu Sei. Seeing a bunch of beauties, she shook her head. Walking over, she could hear the beauties fawning over Lu Beichen. Young Master Lu, do you eat this? Young Master Lu, have a grape. The beauties raised their heads and saw Gu Jingyan at first glance. It wasn't that they were too sensitive, but Gu Jingyan was too flamboyant. She was as beautiful as a rose with thorns, bright and dangerous. They didn't want to see such a beautiful person in front of Lu Beichen. Hey, what are you doing? There's someone here. One of the beauties said to Gu Jingyan with a bad attitude. Gu Jingyan said, Of course I'm here to sit. Hey, how can you be so shameless? I said there's someone here. Yeah, don't tell me you're here to flirt with young Master Lu. Just as she said that, Lu Beichen stood up. Hey, who are you pointing at? His gaze sharpened, and he pushed the hands of the lady in front of him away. The lady was shocked. Seeing Lu Beichen glare at her coldly, she quickly walked over to Gu Jingyan. Why are you so late? Even if I didn't come, it would still be lively here. Gu Jingyan said as she shrugged. Lu Beichen glanced at the lady behind him. It's because you're too slow and I'm bored. Hee. Can I have my meal in peace now? Lu Beichen turned around immediately and said coldly, Get lost. Young Master Lu, what's wrong with us? Young Master Lu, you can't do this. Lu Beichen wasn't interested in their whining. I don't want to say it again. His tone was even colder and his expression darkened. The few of them froze in fear. Not daring to offend him, they quickly left with their tails between their legs. But before they left, they didn't forget to glare at Gu Jingyan. Jealousy and resentment. Who was this woman? Lu Beichen had chased them away because of her, and he was so fierce. Gu Jingyan shook her head. You're really a demon. What's wrong? Did I scare you? Hee, we'll talk about it in our next life. Lu Beichen smiled and started preparing food for her. Hurry up and eat. You're so late. Aren't you hungry? Yes, I'm starving. Then hurry up and serve the food. Hearing that she was hungry, Lu Beichen turned around and shouted, Hurry up and serve us the food. It'll be here soon. Seeing that, the restaurant quickly got to work. Soon the food was served. Gu Jingyan ate in a hurry. It had been a long time since she had such delicious Chinese food. She felt that it was delicious. Chapter 1458. Alright. Eat slowly. No one's going to take your food. What? Are you afraid that I'll make you poor? Eat as much as you want. It's my loss if you end up poor. Just then, Gu Jingyan wanted to laugh, but she choked. Cough. Her face turned red. Liu Beichen's expression changed. What's wrong? Cough. Quick, have a sip of water. Ouch, hurry up. Liu Beichen called for the waiter. The waiter was a little slow. Liu Beichen snatched it from her. Have a sip, Liu Beichen said. Gu Jingyan took it and took a sip. She finally calmed down. Liu Beichen frowned. Look at you. Gu Jingyan said. Oh, I almost died. Liu Beichen said. Tell me, when can you be more careful? You almost died. How old are you? How could you choke on water? I'm impressed. In the future, do I have to be chewed up and fed to you to be safe? Hey, I'm not as bad as you say. You're so long-winded. If these women knew how long-winded you are, they would run away. You think I'm long-winded? I'm doing this for your own good, and you're saying I'm long-winded? Liu Beichen said. See, you're still talking, Gu Jingyan said. Liu Beichen said. TSK, you're really heartless. Yeah, girls are heartless. If you don't like them, don't date them. Luckily I didn't date you. Otherwise I'd die of anger. After dinner, Liu Beichen sent Gu Jingyan back to the dormitory. When they reached the dormitory, Gu Jingyan realized that he had left his notebook in her bag. It must be his notes from class. But it was too late. She decided to send it to him the next day. The next day, Gu Jingyan had classes all day. She had 2 classes in her own class, so she didn't have to go to the big classroom. After Gu Jingyan sat down, Louis came over. Everyone looked at Louis enviously. Louis smiled and sat down. What are you doing? Oh, I want to go to another class to look for someone. I don't know if they are in their own classroom. In their university, each department still had their own classes. Usually, they would go to the big classroom for the big class. Louis said. He should have been in his classroom this morning. Is that so? Then I'll go find him. Who are you looking for? Liu Beichen. Louis was surprised. Why are you looking for him? Nothing, just something personal. She got up and asked. Is his class in front? Yeah, it's a little far from us. Look, it's just in front of the school building. Hey, didn't you say yesterday that you weren't interested in Liu Beichen? What does having no interest have to do with me going to look for him? But if you're not interested, why are you looking for him? You think too much. I have something to do. She smiled, got up, patted Louis and walked out. Soon it was Liu Beichen's class. From the outside, he could see that there were many pretty girls inside. Liu Beichen had chosen a good class. Gu Jingyan stood at the door and stopped someone. Hey, is Liu Beichen in your class? Upon hearing that she was looking for Liu Beichen, the girl at the door immediately sized up Gu Jingyan. Because of Gu Jingyan's beauty, the girl took a few more glances at her. Then with a gloomy expression she said, He's not here. Gu Jingyan said, He's not here? Really? She didn't know where he was going. She leaned over to take a look. The girl stopped her immediately. What are you looking at? Is this your class? Just look in. Gu Jingyan was pushed to the side and frowned. What's wrong? Can't I take a look if he's not in my class? Of course not. Why? Do you want to chase Liu Beichen? Let me tell you, there's no way. There are many people chasing after him. They come to the classroom every day. Who do you think you are? Just wait in line. Gu Jingyan was puzzled. She wasn't a pursuer at all. Even if she was, what did it have to do with her? Gu Jingyan raised her eyebrows. Oh, then who do you think you are to Liu Beichen? Why are you blocking his way? The girl glared at her. I'm no one, but I just can't stand the way you're blocking people's doorstep. You're a girl, don't be so reserved. Go away. Don't block people's doorstep, okay? She said as she tried to push Gu Jingyan again. This time, Gu Jingyan didn't let her. She retreated to the side and dodged her hand. The girl grabbed nothing but air. She was furious. Gu Jingyan harumphed and said, I'm looking for Liu Beichen no matter what. With that, Gu Jingyan was about to enter the classroom. The girl said angrily at the door, "Hey, I've never seen someone as shameless as you. What are you doing? Get out of the way. I won't let you in. I'm looking for Liu Beichen. What right do you have to stop me from entering? How can you be so shameless? How can there be a girl like you? Who do you think you are? You want to see Liu Beichen, just because you want to. Why don't you take a look at yourself first? Why are you chasing after Liu Beichen? Huh, what do I look like? I know Liu Beichen." The girl paused and looked at Gu Jingyan in disbelief. "Don't think that I'll let you in just because you say that." Gu Jingyan couldn't be bothered with her. She shouted into the classroom, "Liu Beichen, are you there? Don't play dead inside. I'm here to give you your notebook." You. The girl at the door looked shocked. But unexpectedly, inside Liu Beichen was walking out step by step. "Gu Jingyan." The girl outside froze. She watched as Liu Beichen walked out and walked towards Gu Jingyan. She thought indignantly, does she really know Liu Beichen? Gu Jingyan harumphed. She walked up to Liu Beichen right in front of her and said, "You don't want the notebook anymore." "Oh, did I leave it with you last night? I forgot." He took the notebook. Gu Jingyan gestured at the girl with her chin. The girl's eyes were filled with jealousy, but she still walked in unhappily. Does she really know Liu Beichen? How is that possible? Gu Jingyan harumphed. She hooked her arm around Liu Beichen's and walked in front of her deliberately. Looking at her burning face, he finally felt much better. "Let's go. Remember to have lunch together." It wasn't just the girl. The rest of the people were also looking at them, especially when they saw the two of them walking out arm in arm. Their eyes widened. Who is this beauty? Why does she look so intimate with Liu Beichen? Everyone watched in surprise as the two of them left. The two of them had instantly become the focus of the corridor. Liu Beichen still didn't know what was going on. He just felt that there was something wrong with her when she dragged him out. Gu Jingyan was also angry at the girl. Otherwise, she wouldn't have let others know that she knew Liu Beichen. Digression. Alright, I know that everyone is very upset about the recent updates. I'm also very upset, but I've been really busy with work, and I still have to prepare a new article. Now let me tell everyone a piece of good news. The new article has already been released, Hidden Married Wife. CEO Don't Play Me. For the time being, this will be the title. Everyone can go and have a look. It's a different story, just as exciting. Chapter 1459. Gu Jingyan dragged Liu Beichen out with her. She wanted to tell him that they were going to have lunch together, but they ran into her roommates the moment they stepped out. They were about to greet Gu Jingyan when they saw her, but then they saw who was next to her. Wasn't that Liu Beichen? Liu Beichen? No way. Why is Gu Jingyan with him? It looks like they know each other. They stared at Gu Jingyan. Gu Jingyan had already noticed them. She glanced at the eye-catching Liu Beichen and said, All right. I'll see you at the canteen at noon. I'm leaving." "All right." Liu Beichen stood there with his hands in his pockets. His handsome face was flushed red. Gu Jingyan skipped over to her two roommates. "Ah, Gu Jingyan, you and Liu Beichen. Gu Jingyan, tell us the truth. Why are you with Liu Beichen?" The two of them immediately seized Gu Jingyan and questioned her. Gu Jingyan said, Hey. We're from the same university. What's wrong with knowing each other? We're so close to each other. Even if we're not in the same major, we're still in the same faculty. We see each other all the time." "Who would see Liu Beichen all the time?" "We see each other all the time too. Why haven't you spoken to him for so long?" "Sigh. That's because you don't talk to him." They screamed when they saw him. Indeed, they hadn't talked to each other. However, they had heard that although Liu Beichen didn't look unapproachable, he was a cold person. If he didn't like someone, he wouldn't give them any face. After all, a man like him didn't need to give face to anyone. The two of them escorted Gu Jingyan back. Before they reached the door, Louis came over. "Who were you with just now?" Louis looked outside. "Was that Liu Beichen?" Gu Jingyan patted him. "What's wrong? Didn't I tell you that I was going to see him? You really went? I thought you were joking." "Ahem. Why would I joke about something like this?" "You're right. I thought you were joking." "You're really?" Louis looked outside for a long time. He was jealous of Liu Beichen. He thought that Liu Beichen was rich and handsome. That was why a girl like Gu Jingyan was destined to be his. Although it was impossible for him to fall in love with Gu Jingyan at first sight, any man would have some fantasies about such a beautiful girl. Not to mention anything else, if she gave them the slightest bit of hope, each and every one of them would definitely be willing to risk their lives. But now that he knew that she really liked Liu Beichen, he could only wish her well, because he understood why such a good girl would fall for him. However, he was still somewhat disappointed. At noon, Gu Jingyan waved goodbye to Liu Yi. "I'm going to have lunch first." Liu Yi watched as Gu Jingyan entered the restaurant. After a few rounds with Liu Beichen, they went to have dinner together. He sighed bitterly. Reality was indeed cruel. However, there were many other students in the school who saw this scene. Gu Jingyan had only been here for a few days, but her reputation had already risen. Many people were secretly trying to find out who she was, and there were also many people who were talking about her beauty. Although many people didn't know her, and some of them hadn't seen her before, they already knew that there was a beautiful girl in the finance department called Gu Jingyan. Now, everyone knew that Gu Jingyan had been hanging out with Liu Beichen and the others the moment she arrived. Unfortunately, Gu Jingyan wasn't just amazing in this aspect. A few days after arriving at the school, she submitted a thesis, and it was published in a world-renowned finance magazine. The school had publicly praised her. Everyone instantly knew that Gu Jingyan was a straight-A student. She had entered Q University and was specially recruited because she was the top scorer in City B. But because she was low-key, the school didn't publicize her. That day, when the thesis was published, the teacher congratulated Gu Jingyan in class. He also boasted about Gu Jingyan's glorious history. Everyone turned around to look at this beautiful girl, who could have made a living with her looks, but chose to rely on her talent. Liu Yi sat next to her and looked at her in admiration. "Wow, Gu Jingyan, I didn't know you were so amazing." Gu Jingyan said, "What do you mean by I was amazing? Didn't you think I would be so amazing?" "Well, I just thought that a beautiful girl like you should just focus on being beautiful." Gu Jingyan snorted. "Are you saying that I'm like a vase?" "Well, you're not a vase. Most beautiful girls like you wouldn't study so hard." Gu Jingyan rolled her eyes. "That only means that you don't know many girls like her." Yeah, of course they didn't know many. She was the only beautiful girl he knew. Because of the teacher's publicity, Gu Jingyan became famous in an instant. She had already been talked about because of her beauty. Now everyone knew that Gu Jingyan was so amazing. In the blink of an eye, Gu Jingyan had become a famous person. When they went out, Liu Beichen could still hear people saying, "I heard that Gu Jingyan has been recruited by the student council. I think she's going to be a candidate for the student council president." Wow, that's amazing. The student council president of Q University. She won't be an ordinary person in the future. That's because she's so amazing. Elder Su said, "Wow, it looks like our great beauty Gu is starting to attract fans quickly." Liu Beichen smiled. Before he could say anything, he heard another guy say, "Heh, if I can marry Gu Jingyan, I'd be willing to do anything for her in my next life." "Ha, then you have to earn 100 million first. Otherwise, I don't think you can marry her." "How would you know if you don't try?" "No, I have to bring her tea and water tonight." "Which floor is her dormitory in?" "I have to bring her hot water." "Forget it. There are plenty of guys who wait there every day to bring her things. If you want to go, you have to queue up first." Liu Beichen's eyes darkened. "What the hell? There are people who are going to bring Gu Jingyan tea and water?" Elder Su shrugged. "Yeah, what do you think? It started a few days ago." Liu Beichen sneered. "Seriously, she's so ostentatious. Doesn't she find it troublesome? You can't blame her for that." Elder Su said, "This is because the teacher's publicity is too powerful. Plus, she's really quite attractive. It has nothing to do with her. She only knows how to cause trouble." "Seriously," Liu Beichen said as he stuffed his hands into his pockets. At this moment Gu Jingyan arrived. Gu Jingyan entered their class and called out to them, "Hey, let's go eat together. What are you guys doing?" Now, entering their class was almost a normal thing. At first, the girls who stopped them at the door would walk around her when they saw her. Chapter 1460. First-year classes were supposed to be very relaxed, but Q University didn't have such a thing. Ever since school started, they had been busy. They attended classes in the day, studied at night, and even went to the library during their breaks. Hence, when they were in high school, the teacher said, "It's okay if you're tired now. You'll be relaxed when you get to university." That was bullshit. In university, one had to rely on self-awareness. The price of being relaxed was not having a degree. Gu Jingyan signed up for a double degree the moment she arrived. From then on, she started to wander around the various libraries. Fortunately, the conditions of a first-class university were better. The library had a rich collection of books, and the learning atmosphere was good. She usually had to queue up to go to the library every day. But because it was Gu Jingyan, the teacher gave her a more relaxed condition. She just had to study at a fixed spot every day. As usual, she was reading a book. After a while, she felt a commotion on the side. She raised her head and saw that a few coquettish men had entered. The girls were all looking at the handsome men, discussing and screaming. Gu Jingyan shook her head. Seeing the men come to her side, she said, "How did you guys come in? You should be queuing up." At this time, classes had just ended. They should still be queuing up. Ha! The auntie in the library was overjoyed to see me. She knocked me out and let me in. Little Q said like a clown. Old Sue said, "He listened to his bragging. We were the ones who sold Liu Beichen out." Every time the auntie in the library sees Liu Beichen, she wishes he was her son and let him in. Liu Beichen went up and punched him. Old Sue gasped. As the few of them laughed and joked around, the people around them screamed even louder. Gu Jingyan felt that they were delaying everyone's studies and disturbing the order of the library. All right. Can you guys stop for a while? Don't disturb my studies." "What's the point of just studying?" Old Sue said. Gu Jingyan said, "Then why are you guys here?" "I'm bored, so I came to see you." I'm bored, but you guys aren't." Little Q said, Come, let's just play games here." Little Q found someone and threw a few banknotes at him. That person happily helped them to pack up their computers. After a while, they took their games and sat beside Gu Jingyan. Gu Jingyan said, "Playing games in the library. You guys are really something. Isn't this to accompany you?" As they spoke, they were already gearing up for a fight. Gu Jingyan watched from the side and suddenly felt that the game was actually quite fun. Little Q said, "Why? Are you interested? Come, I'll let you play with my account." "Is that so? All right, I'll try, but I've never fought before." It's fine. Girls are meant to be led. Just stand still in the spring, and Liu Beichen will be responsible for leading everyone." With that, under Little Q's guidance, they started a new round. Little Q continued excitedly, "Let me tell you, in this server, Beichen is definitely number one. Don't look down on him just because he's not good at anything else, but he's definitely top-notch in this game. There's nothing else, he's a professional player. You don't even know how many people want to poach him, but unfortunately, he doesn't like it. Otherwise, he would definitely be." He hadn't even finished bragging about his celebrity status when he saw Gu Jingyan's beautiful kill. Little Q had yet to react as he stared dumbfounded at the interior. Gu Jingyan looked up and blinked her alluring eyes. "Is this the right way to play?" Old Sue turned around and said, "It can't be. That was Gu Jingyan." Little Q said, "Of course. Didn't you see who was holding the mouse?" Old Sue said, Not bad. You're worth teaching. Although you were lucky, it shows that you're talented. Come on. However, after that, Old Sue couldn't say anything else. At the back, Gu Jingyan ran over to coordinate with Liu Beichen. One of them was in charge of the damage output, while the other was in charge of the tank. They killed their opponents until they were screaming for their mothers. The people on the other side also knew who they were. After all, Liu Beichen's name was shining brightly in the server. No one could see him. He had been in the number one position for a year and hadn't moved at all. The few people in his fixed team all had similar names, and they were all top-notch players. Their videos were often posted on the official website and discussed by people. Hence, they all knew who they were. Those who were matched with them were naturally top-notch players. Hence, when they faced Little Q, they felt that it was strange. Since when did their tank player, "Don't hit my family's damage output," become so good? With one look, they realized that no one had died in the entire arena. One by one, they were almost on par with Liu Beichen's "Don't hit my nanny." Old Su was initially very surprised. He thought that it couldn't be. It wasn't like Gu Jingyan hadn't played it before. However, when he turned his head to look, he saw that Gu Jingyan's hands were extremely fast. One hand was on the keyboard while the other was on the mouse. She looked very calm, but her movements were precise and fast. Old Su couldn't help but exclaim, "Jingyan, how did you play so well?" Gu Jingyan raised her head. "It's quite simple." Gu Jingyan smiled. "I've learned how to play the piano before. I feel that it's similar to playing the piano. It's just a two-handed operation. You just have to have a better sense of balance and coordination." Old Su suddenly felt that sometimes, things like genes were really quite magical. For example, Gu Jingyan was so strong. Not only did she know everything, she was also so good at everything. Right now he really felt that nothing could be too difficult for this girl. At this moment, Liu Beichen also turned his head and looked deeply at Gu Jingyan. Little Q was already speechless at the side. Now he looked at him and said, "How is it, Beichen?" Liu Beichen looked at Gu Jingyan and nodded. "Not bad." Little Q was even more amazed. Even Liu Beichen said that it was not bad. Actually, among them, Liu Beichen was the best at playing. They were all slightly weaker. Hence, sometimes when they cooperated, they couldn't keep up with Liu Beichen's pace. For example, the support couldn't keep up and the tank couldn't keep up. But looking at it now, Gu Jingyan seemed to be able to keep up. After a round, Gu Jingyan put down the mouse. "Not bad, not bad." Little Q shook his head and clapped his hands. "Jingyan, tell me, is there anything in this world that you don't know?" Gu Jingyan said, "There is." "What?" "If I were as stupid as you, I wouldn't know it." Damn. Little Q felt that he was going to die of anger. Gu Jingyan laughed. Liu Beichen looked at Gu Jingyan and said, "Since you're so good at playing, let's play together next time." That's right, that's right. Didn't you see? Beichen is in our zone. He's an old bull." Although Gu Jingyan didn't really understand it, she understood after scanning it. Just now, the game kept reminding them that this round was being recommended to the Almighty Games, and there were thousands of people watching. Moreover, the Tieba forum outside had already started a text live broadcast of the game, and there were countless discussions. Chapter 1461. Gu Jingyan said, "Is Liu Beichen that good?" Of course. Little Q was very proud, as if he was the best player in the world. Little Q looked at her and said, "But you're good too. Let's play together in the future." Gu Jingyan said, "But you're good too. Let's play together in the future." Actually, Liu Beichen was not just famous in the game. In reality, there weren't many young masters who were as ostentatious as him, so everyone knew who he was. His Weibo account was verified, and he had many fans. Many young girls went there to express their love for him. Of course, most of the netizens went there to tease and observe the daily life of a tycoon. When Liu Beichen was free, he would post something, and everyone would chat enthusiastically. He only posted one every few days. Sometimes it was pictures, sometimes it was playing games, and sometimes it was scolding people. Initially, he didn't want to create a Weibo account to become famous. At first, he just scolded people on the internet. However, maybe it was because his scolding was a little too real. Sometimes, when he saw people saying that a celebrity was better, he would post, "Fuck. You can't see me smoking, drinking, and flirting with women in private." Sometimes, when something was distorted by the netizens, he would go over and scold them. "Actually, I'm eating pork trotters at home and watching you distort the truth." Then, the powerful netizens suddenly discovered him. After a search, everyone found out that Liu Beichen was a rich playboy. As for how rich he was, just look at his family's assets. In addition, Liu Beichen himself was good-looking. So many good-looking girls were instantly attracted by this promiscuous and good-looking playboy. Now, even though Liu Beichen wasn't a celebrity, he was more famous than many other celebrities. After Liu Beichen posted a game, everyone started to search again. The netizens were so powerful that it didn't take long for someone to discover him. So Liu Beichen is the god of the general area, northbound limitless. So he's the one playing the game. Of course, whether it's his equipment or skills, he's definitely top-notch. Everyone had always called northbound limitless North God. When they heard that this popular character in the game had met up with a popular character in real life, the discussion became even more heated, and the news even made it to the headlines. All of a sudden, Liu Beichen had a fangirl not only in school, but also outside. There were even some businessmen who found a business opportunity and wanted to contact Liu Beichen to do a show. Of course, Liu Beichen scoffed at this and could not be bothered at all. However, after he realized that Gu Jingyan was a good gamer, he always dragged her to play with him. However, it was fine to play games, but he didn't enjoy it. Every time, he would scold Gu Jingyan endlessly. Hearing this, the other two people were speechless. Gu Jingyan, can you stop? Move to the side. Gu Jingyan stepped back. Why are you standing in front? Hey, who are you healing? Gu Jingyan said speechlessly. You run so fast, can I keep up with you? Haha, you're blaming me for your death. Gu Jingyan's classmates also noticed it. They looked at Gu Jingyan and asked. Hey, you've started playing games too, Louis said. Gu Jingyan said, I play occasionally. What's wrong with it? Louis said, isn't this game very popular recently? I see a lot of people playing it, especially those who are led by Liu Beichen. Really? What does it have to do with Liu Beichen? Aya, you're with Liu Beichen every day. You don't know, but Liu Beichen is very popular now. Everyone has given him a name, South Emperor Bay. Gu Jingyan said, what the hell is that? South Emperor is in the south. In City S, there's a king Lo called Gu Yiming. He's a very powerful arms dealer. In City B in the north, there's a dissolute young master Liu Beichen. Both of them are rich and handsome, so they're very famous. That's why Liu Beichen is still playing this game. Many fangirls are playing it, just in case they meet Liu Beichen. Gu Jingyan was speechless. These people are really boring. However, it was no wonder that there were more people watching Liu Beichen recently. That's true. But everyone is also very curious about the support player who plays with Liu Beichen. I wonder which god is playing with Liu Beichen and playing so well. Gu Jingyan's hands paused. There were still people curious about her. At this moment, Liu Beichen arrived. He stood at the door and said, Gu Jingyan, you're not leaving anymore? Everyone watched as Gu Jingyan hurriedly got up and left with Liu Beichen. It was little Q's birthday today. He had booked a hotel for everyone to play games and eat supper. Although they were very rich, sometimes they didn't have such extravagant pastimes. They were also very willing to organize this kind of all-night gaming with their friends. I just ordered takeout. You guys continue playing. I need to go to the toilet. Little Q got up lazily and went to the toilet after giving them some instructions. Little Q was actually one of the more low-profile ones. Otherwise, with their family background, their birthday would be very lively. At this moment, there was a knock on the door. Gu Jingyan kicked Liu Beichen. Go and open the door. What? The takeout is here. Hurry up and go. Liu Beichen harumphed. You're the only one who dares to kick me. Just you wait. Gu Jingyan stuck out her tongue at him. Liu Beichen went to open the door. When he opened the door, he saw a girl standing outside, holding something in her hands. She was still wearing her work clothes and her face was red from the sun. That appearance, there was a little more maturity, a little more vicissitudes of life, but the person was still the same. Fu Chenxi. Liu Beichen was stunned. Outside, Fu Chenxi, who had a part-time job as a delivery boy, had never expected to meet him in this hotel. Liu Beichen. The things in his hands fell to the ground with a clatter. Liu. She was about to leave when Liu Beichen grabbed her. Chenxi, where did you go? I've been looking for you for a long time. Why didn't you give me a reason? Why did you disappear? The first thing Liu Beichen wanted to do was to get to the bottom of it. All these years, this question had been bothering him for a long time. He had never understood what he had done to make Fu Chenxi leave so abruptly. Inside, the few people who heard that something was wrong hurried out. When she saw Fu Chenxi at the door, Gu Jingyan was stunned. Chenxi. Gu Jingyan walked over. Fu Chenxi didn't expect them to be here. They were so rich and had so many houses. Why would they all come to a hotel? Although it was a 7-star hotel, and it was very expensive, they didn't seem to care. Chapter 1462. You guys! Fu Chenxi panicked and turned to run. However, Liu Beichen had already grabbed hold of her. Don't go. Don't even think of leaving if you don't explain yourself. Gu Jingyan paused and gave old Su and the rest a look. The few of them immediately understood. They quickly patted their buttocks and left. When there were only the two of them left in the room, Fu Chenxi could not help but look at him. She had never thought that she would meet him again in her life. After all, no man she had met after leaving this place was as good and outstanding as Liu Beichen, not to mention his family background and looks. At that time, she suddenly felt the pain, because she knew that after losing Liu Beichen, she would never meet such a good man again in this lifetime. Liu Beichen looked at her. Why did you disappear? What are you doing now? Are you still in City B? Why didn't you show up? Fu Chenxi could only lower her head, not knowing what to say. Of course, she wasn't in B City. Previously, the Lius had given her family a lot of money, so her family hurriedly bought a huge villa in the south. After they moved in, her parents squandered money as they pleased. It had only been a few years, but they had already spent all their money. The villa was also lost because of her father's gambling. Even though her mother was furious, she was getting on in years and didn't want to move anymore, so she didn't get a divorce. The family could only return to B City to continue making a living. She attended a third-rate university and had to work part-time to survive. When she saw Liu Beichen, she felt wronged. How could she be so unlucky to have such parents? She could not speak and could only cover her face and cry. Liu Beichen frowned and looked at her. What's going on? Chenxi, tell me. Fu Chenxi could only look up. A few years ago, your father went to look for me. She was halfway through her sentence and did not mention the matter of money. Liu Beichen seemed to understand at once. He went to look for you, and that's why you left. Yes, great. What a good father. Liu Beichen was wondering why Fu Chenxi would leave when he did not do anything. Then he realized that it was because of the family. After a while, Liu Beichen brought Fu Chenxi downstairs. Sure enough, they were waiting at the door. Liu Beichen briefly explained what had happened, and they instantly understood what had happened. Gu Jingyan looked at Fu Chenxi and said, You should have made it clear at that time. Besides, you should have contacted me before you left. Why did you leave so thoroughly? Fu Chenxi blushed. I don't have the face to look for you either. Gu Jingyan didn't say anything. She looked at the two of them and said with a smile, Let's go then. It's too late. We can talk slowly. Liu Beichen said, Then I'll send Chenxi back. Fu Chenxi was even more embarrassed, but for the first time in all these years, her face revealed an expression of happiness. The next day, Liu Beichen brought Fu Chenxi to school. Gu Jingyan said, You're in university now, right? Fu Chenxi was too embarrassed to say it. She lowered her head and said, I'm actually nearby. Otherwise, he wouldn't be working part-time here. This was a university town with many schools, but they were all in such a prestigious Q university. But I'm at teacher's college. Ah, teacher B? No, it's the third teacher, they blinked. They had never heard of it, Fu Chenxi said embarrassedly. It's a third-tier school. My studies aren't as good as yours. I'm already very satisfied that I was able to get into that school. She had only done it at the end, and hadn't been in the mood to study before. Otherwise, it wouldn't have been a problem for her to get into a second-tier school. At that time, she didn't have much interest in it. Now that she saw that they were all in Q University, she really hated herself for not studying properly. It caused her to be even more embarrassed now. Gu Jingyan said, It's good that we're close. Gu Jingyan wasn't a warm person. After not seeing each other for a few years, they couldn't be as close as before. Moreover, ever since she got together with Liu Beichen, she had deliberately distanced herself from him. Gu Jingyan hid her thoughts carefully. She knew that she wouldn't take the initiative to say anything to others, and would just let nature take its course. Anyway, She still had a lot of things to do. Her life wasn't like that of an ordinary girl, who only cared about love. In the afternoon, the few of them went to eat together. In the afternoon they went to class. A few of her roommates came to ask Gu Jingyan, "What happened? Who was that girl with you guys in the afternoon?" Gu Jingyan said, "Oh, it's Liu Beichen's girlfriend." There was nothing to hide, so Gu Jingyan told them the truth. Her roommates were puzzled. "That can't be. That girl is so lame. Is young Master Liu out of his mind?" Gu Jingyan smiled. "How could that be? They were together a long time ago, but they separated because of some matters. Now she's back again." The few of them didn't believe her. "That's still impossible. With you around, how could he like someone else?" "Forget it. He actually hates me. We quarrel for no reason." "Oh, we used to think that you guys were just quarreling in bed." "Don't talk nonsense. If we quarrel too much, we'll get physical. But we still think that you guys are very compatible. When you're together, it's like you're the same person." "Then you guys are wrong," Gu Jingyan said calmly. "He doesn't like girls like me." "Then what type does he like?" Gu Jingyan raised her head and looked at the few of them. She looked like she didn't need to ask. Then they remembered that there was nothing to ask. "Just look at Liu Beichen's girlfriend and you'll know." Then Fu Qinxi joined them again. But because they weren't from the same school, she would often come over after class. Fu Qinxi would bring some food for Gu Jingyan every time. Gu Jingyan would always smile and say, "You don't have to be so polite. You even bring food for me every time." Fu Qinxi smiled and said, "Are we friends? Also, I'm very grateful to you for all these years." "Thank me for what? When I left, you even helped me tell Liu Beichen." Gu Jingyan smiled. "You asked me to help you and I promised you. But don't ask me for help next time. Liu Beichen is very scary when he's angry. There won't be a next time." "Really? I already regret it this time." Gu Jingyan smiled and didn't say anything. Very soon, the school organized a debate club. In order to join the student union and fight for the position of student union president, Gu Jingyan joined the debate club. Q University's debate club wasn't easy to enter, because their debate club wasn't like normal universities. They would participate in many international competitions, and they were very famous both domestically and overseas. Chapter 1463. Debating wasn't an easy task. They had to look up a lot of information for a debate topic. Gu Jingyan went around looking for information, and the rest of them were spurred to help her. Liu Beichen looked at Gu Jingyan speechlessly. "You're participating in the debate. Why are we here in the library?" Gu Jingyan said, "Because I'm here to participate in the debate. You're all my friends, and I'm asking for your help. If you don't help me, I'll be very unhappy. If I'm unhappy, I'll hit you." As Gu Jingyan said that, she gave him a slap on the face. "Hey Gu Jingyan, don't hit my face. What are you doing?" "Humph." Gu Jingyan looked at him, as if saying, "What can you do to me?" Yes. Liu Beichen couldn't do anything to her. To be honest, not only could he not do anything to her, he could only be bullied by her. For some reason, Liu Beichen couldn't do anything to her. She was bad-tempered and headstrong, and she would hit him for no reason. If it were someone else, he would have killed her long ago. But he couldn't bring himself to hit her. It could only be said that they were too close. They had been friends for so many years that they were very familiar with each other. Old Su laughed bitterly. "Then do we get any rewards?" "No." Gu Jingyan looked at him disdainfully. "Why? You want to resist too?" No. Miss Gu, tell me, why are you tormenting yourself? Why don't you just ask your servants to investigate it for you?" Little Q looked at her and said, "That's right. Get your butler to check for you. They can find any information you want, no matter how confidential it is. Get lost. Stop talking nonsense." Gu Jingyan reprimanded them one by one. "What's the point? I'm helping you improve. Look, you've learned so much after checking for information. Hee. I think you don't want us to have an easy time either." "That's right. Old Su, you're finally enlightened." Everyone looked at Gu Jingyan with resentment. Gu Jingyan said, Okay. If we can get first, I'll treat you." "Okay, we want the most expensive one. We are going abroad. Don't try to fool us." Actually, If everyone worked together, it wouldn't be so boring. If Gu Jingyan was alone in the library, it would be very annoying. Just like that, the information was quickly found. Soon the first round of the preliminaries began. It was Gu Jingyan's first time participating. Looking at the formal appearance, she couldn't help but feel solemn. All the TV stations in the country would broadcast it, and the reporters had already arrived. Their opponent was X University. It could be said that their draw for the qualifiers was the worst. Last time at X University, he was ranked 3rd in the world and 1st in the country. This was because the debates at X University had always been very fierce, and many people were intimidated by them. The president was so anxious that he was going crazy. He kept telling everyone, "Relax, don't feel pressured." But in fact, he was the one who felt the most pressure. Gu Jingyan soon arrived. She sat in the back, and everyone was still talking. "Who's that guy from Q University? I've never seen him before." "Yeah, she's so pretty." The president was already a veteran debater, and he was very famous. Wherever he went, there would be a bunch of fangirls following him, and some reporters would flatter him endlessly. He looked at Gu Jingyan and sneered. "Is this your new contestant?" The president chuckled. "That's right." "Why?" He pushed up his glasses. "Are you sure you didn't come to the wrong place?" "What do you mean?" "The beauty pageant is at the TV station opposite. Here it's all about talent." "You?" Gu Jingyan laughed. "Sorry. Is it because you debaters are usually too ugly? And that's why you have such a perception? Our Q University has always been like this, with good looks and ability." She meant that they were ugly. The person opposite was infuriated indeed. Meanwhile, the president laughed. As expected of someone from the debate club, his glib tongue was on point. The other person laughed and said, "The rest of you aren't anything special, but you stand out a little. I say, is it because the debate club has become more famous recently that you guys have started to play dirty?" Gu Jingyan said, "Whether or not we need to play dirty, we'll know in a while. Don't lose miserably, and then we'll realize that you guys are the ones playing dirty. If that's the case, the person from your X University is really not bad." Sweeping a glance at the girls behind, she started to speak venomously again. "You," he glared at Gu Jingyan, remembering this beautiful and powerful mouth. "All right, I'll see you at the venue." After going down, everyone looked at Gu Jingyan, surrounding her and talking. "Good job. Yeah, she's too amazing. It really feels good. They're really too arrogant." The person opposite looked at Gu Jingyan, feeling indignant. "Look, the reporters are all asking who that is. Isn't she just good looking?" The reporters also wanted to capture some special people in the industry, and Gu Jingyan was so beautiful. She was the prettiest debater in recent years. A beautiful debater would definitely attract attention if it was on the news. They just waited for a while. During the debate, they would take a few beautiful photos of her, and then after the debate, they would interview her. As for winning or losing, they didn't have much hope. After all, X University's prowess wasn't just a day or two. They had basically dominated the industry for so many years, and they definitely weren't just for show. After a while, everyone finally went on stage. Today's debate was very fucked up. Was the economy more important, or was environmental protection more important? This was a topic that even the United Nations was debating. Why did they have to debate for no reason? Because of this, everyone had been researching the topic for a few days, and now it was finally time to go on stage. X University's reputation was naturally not just for show. In an instant, they had already gained the upper hand in terms of momentum. On this side, it was obvious that they were still panicking and lacking in confidence. Until Gu Jingyan went on stage, there was already a wave of cheers. "Wow, I heard that she's the campus belle of Q University. Yeah, she's especially beautiful. Not only is she the campus belle, but she's also said to be the top student in school. She was the top student in B City and entered Q University. That's awesome. As expected of the campus belle, she looks like a celebrity, and her aura isn't bad. Just by standing there, she was already like a magnificent army." When she smiled at the opposite side, the president's heart skipped a beat. She was too beautiful, so enchanting, and it moved people's hearts. Just a smile made people want to do anything for her. The reporters below hurriedly took photos. At the back, Liu Beichen and the others, who had come to watch the debate, were still watching quietly. Seeing that everyone was sighing for her, old Su couldn't help but say, "Seriously, a person like Gu Jingyan is definitely here to challenge the perception of others." "That's right. Look, everyone is talking about her. She's so beautiful, but she still wants to snatch the talent." Fu Chenxi had actually come as well. She was watching from the side. She really felt that Gu Jingyan, who had become the focus of attention, was very eye-catching. Chapter 1464. However, when a few people joined forces to debate, the difference appeared. Some of them couldn't keep up with the conversation. Suddenly there was a huge gap. Towards the end, one of the male debaters looked like he was about to collapse from all the talking. He stood there and began to speak incoherently. The other side started to laugh. "What's wrong? Has your team become weak after having a beauty?" Gu Jingyan looked at her president. "Let him go rest first." "All right." The president's face turned red. He could only sigh. He couldn't do anything about it. However, they were already at a disadvantage. Now that they had one less person, they didn't stand a chance of winning. They called for a doctor from the medical team. The other side became even more arrogant. "What's wrong? You're a debater. I think you're isolated and helpless. After all, you're just a girl. You need a strong man to protect you. How about coming over here? We won't let you stand there alone." They were openly flirting. Gu Jingyan looked at them coldly. However, it was true that he was pushed to the point where he couldn't do anything about it. At this moment, below the stage, Liu Beichen felt that something was wrong. Old Su said, "Hey, they're openly snatching people." Liu Beichen said, They're trying to snatch people from me. Why don't they take a look at themselves first?" Fu Chenxi saw that Liu Beichen was about to walk over. "Hey Beichen, don't fight here. There are reporters everywhere." However, Liu Beichen didn't even look at them. He just stared ahead and walked over. Gu Jingyan pursed her lips and looked at the other side. Has the debate escalated to personal attacks and sexism? How is that possible? We're just being protective. She's one of us, so we don't need you to take pity on her. Just then a voice came from below. Everyone couldn't help but turn their heads. Liu Beichen had already jumped onto the stage and said, "First of all, our people aren't as weak as you. Second, even if our people are weak, we have to protect them ourselves. You sissies should protect your shrill voices first. It's easy for your voices to break when you listen to us." The people below looked over. Who was this sharp-tongued guy? However, when they turned and saw him, they couldn't help but keep quiet. Liu Beichen. Everyone watched as Liu Beichen jumped onto the stage and walked confidently to the front. He didn't look at anyone but the few big debaters in front of him. He had a strong aura and didn't care about anything else. He was a spoiled brat who wouldn't give face to anyone and always acted as he pleased. Everyone knew who Liu Beichen was. He was the little tyrant of B City and was famous on the internet. The people from X University whispered to each other for a long time. Although he was a little afraid of Liu Beichen, he was, after all, a well-known figure in the industry. Thinking about how Liu Beichen was keeping his mouth shut, he felt aggrieved. Hence, the president stood up and said, "What's the matter? Is Q University going to use their authority to oppress others now?" Liu Beichen crossed his arms and looked at them. You're using your power to oppress people?" His gaze sharpened. "You think too highly of yourselves." The president paused. "If I really want to deal with you, I can just spend some money. I don't even need to use my authority." Liu Beichen's expression was really arrogant. It made people gnash their teeth in hatred, but they really couldn't do anything to him. The president said, "I remember that you're not from the debate club. Why? You can just find a random passerby to argue with?" Liu Beichen stood on the stage and said, "Yeah, at Q University, debating is just child's play. We don't need to practice at all. We're not as focused as you guys who have to practice their eloquence every day. We're all like this. When we're short of people, we just ask around, and ask who's willing to participate in the debate competition. This time, I didn't come because Gu Jingyan came. The people were caught off guard. Gu Jingyan looked at Liu Beichen. You, Liu Beichen said. Aren't you guys short of people? How about me? When the president saw this, although he didn't believe it, he had never participated in a debate before and hadn't prepared in advance. Gu Jingyan immediately said, he can do it. Previously, he was the one who helped me organize my information. The president was still doubtful, but at this moment, he could only try it as a last resort. He could only nod. After all, this was Liu Beichen. Even if he lost, he wouldn't lose. The president said, yeah, we've decided now. Liu Beichen has been brought here at the last minute to make up the numbers. Why? Are you guys afraid that we'll find a random passerby to make up the numbers? The people on the other side snorted and looked at Liu Beichen. Then they looked down. The reporters were already looking at Q University like crazy. In an instant, Q University's lineup was too strong. Although the debate hadn't come to an end yet, in terms of attention, they definitely had the upper hand. After all, they had Liu Beichen and the beautiful debater Gu Jingyan. Alright, then let's not waste any more time. Gu Jingyan stood up and looked at Liu Beichen. Liu Beichen stood by the side and looked at her. He smiled, as if he was very confident. Below the stage, the reporters looked at the two of them and couldn't help but sigh. Look at them standing together. They look like a golden couple. Quick, take a photo. They look so compatible. I haven't had such a compatible partner in a long time. And after they went on stage, they indeed cooperated well. The president, who had initially been thinking of giving up, suddenly adjusted his spectacles when he heard Liu Beichen's words. Why hadn't he noticed this talent before? Liu Beichen and Gu Jingyan's cooperation could be said to be flawless. In a debate, the cooperation between two people was very important. While one of them was speaking, the other had already thought of the loophole that the other side would find, and was ready to counterattack. The two of them seemed to be able to understand each other's next words in an instant. With just a glance, they understood each other's intentions. This kind of cooperation was really something that could only be done by old partners, who had cooperated with each other countless times. They thought that since the two of them were friends, they probably had good chemistry in private. That was why it was so effective. At first, the other side had really thought that Liu Beichen was here to flaunt his wealth. But who would have thought that a debater that they had picked up from the roadside would actually make their jaws drop? All of a sudden, they felt that they couldn't handle it. From the consecutive victories at the start, they were gradually losing. In the end, the opposing side wins. When the judge said this, Q University was still in a daze. No one had expected that when Liu Beichen went on stage, there would be a complete turnaround in their almost eliminated state. All of a sudden, the reporters couldn't wait to surround them. Young Master Liu, do you know Gu Jingyan from before? Chapter 1465. You two are so well coordinated. What's your secret relationship? Liu Beichen and Gu Jingyan were surrounded in the middle. Gu Jingyan looked at the reporters speechlessly. No matter what they were interviewing, they would always focus on gossip. Liu Beichen smiled. What kind of relationship do you think it is? Upon hearing that, the crowd became even more excited. Gu Jingyan elbowed them. What relationship? Our relationship is quarreling every day. She scolds me for no reason, and doesn't give me any face. She only knows how to set me up. The reporters looked at her. Isn't that the same as fighting at the head of the bed? Pfft. Why did everyone say that? Gu Jingyan quickly said. Alright, we're just friends. Don't make wild guesses. We're bad friends. Friends? Everyone hoped that the two of them would develop further. Liu Beichen laughed. Why are you looking at me like that? Let me tell you, Gu Jingyan looks quiet, but she's actually a tomboy. Gu Jingyan said, Hi, you too. You look bright, but you're actually very dark inside. With that, Gu Jingyan elbowed him again. Liu Beichen immediately said, Oh my, did you see that? She did it just like that. Look at the wounds on my hands. They were all caused by her, not to mention the wounds on my body. Tell me, who would dare to marry someone like her? Everyone laughed. But looking at the two of them, they still felt that they were a perfect match. Fu Chenxi's heart was already in turmoil, but she could only stand there and watch with a smile. She clenched her fists. Why couldn't she participate in the debate? But she really didn't have the talent. After the debate, Gu Jingyan and Liu Beichen both became famous. They were trending on the internet, talking about the beautiful debater and the rich young master Liu Beichen. Everyone suspected that the two of them were in some sort of relationship. Liu Beichen was too famous, so Gu Jingyan's Weibo was instantly flooded. Gu Jingyan couldn't help but admire the power of the netizens. She didn't interact much with Liu Beichen, but people still found out about her account very quickly. Her account was very small, and her username was very unique. She called herself beautiful. She had randomly chosen this name, and now it was being teased by the netizens. Her interaction with Liu Beichen was actually very simple. It was all Liu Beichen reposting her posts. In one of the messages, she sent a sigh. I just want to see takeout in the middle of the night. Who else is open? I'm getting hungry. Should I eat or not? Liu Beichen replied, come over to my place for dinner. Gu Jingyan replied, I'm too lazy to move. Liu Beichen said, I'll get someone to pick you up. Come on, beer and crayfish. Alright, I'll pick you up. The netizens sighed when they saw this. Picking someone up for supper in the middle of the night? You must have a good relationship. Looks like they're really close friends. The others were also similar small matters, but they looked very down to earth and inexplicably lovable. I didn't expect Liu Beichen to be so down to earth. The interaction between the two is really loving. At this time, Fu Chenxi was in front of the computer, looking at the screenshots dug up by the netizens. The two of them usually spoke like this. But why was it that when it was put on the internet, the effect was different? Was it because of the netizens' exaggeration? Or was it because Liu Beichen was much more famous on the internet than before? So it looked very different. On the other side, Gu Jingyan was annoyed. She had just arrived at the school when she was surrounded by people. Wow, look, it's Gu Jingyan. There are more and more celebrities in our school. She's indeed prettier than a celebrity. She's even prettier in real life. Ah, I'm actually lucky to be in the same school as Gu Jingyan. Gu Jingyan had always been surrounded by people in the past, but it had never been so blatant before. Liu Beichen was already used to it. It seemed like there was no problem. He walked over to her, not caring what they were looking at. Let's have dinner together tonight. No, Gu Jingyan said. She was still in the mood to eat. She would only be in the mood to eat when these people stopped staring at her. Don't be like that. What's wrong? Are you in a bad mood? Of course I'm in a good mood, Gu Jingyan said, looking up. Liu Beichen saw the curious gazes around him. He frowned. What are you looking at? Liu Beichen was used to being bossy, and everyone was used to it. They quickly turned their heads away. The crowd quietened down for a while, and Gu Jingyan took a deep breath. At night, everyone gathered at Liu Beichen's place to play games. Gu Jingyan ate and watched Liu Beichen and the others play games. Once he went online, the number of people watching the game would come up. Everyone could also see the bullet screen as they watched the match. Fu Chenxi looked at it and couldn't help but sigh. Beichen, you're so famous now. Old Su smiled. Of course. When Jingyan played with us a while ago, she was very famous too. But Jingyan went to debate, and we didn't play anymore. Fu Chenxi looked at Gu Jingyan and smiled. Jingyan, you even know how to play games? Gu Jingyan said. I was just playing. I didn't do much research. Fu Chenxi didn't say anything. Then little Q suddenly said, Aya, there's a school league being held. Our school is also a school district. Is that so? Nowadays, video game companies also like to organize offline events. They would organize these kinds of leagues to attract attention. Come, let's form a team and participate. Of course, Old Su was interested. But we don't have enough people. I'll find 2 more and we'll go on a killing spree. We'll definitely attract a lot of girls. Whatever. Come on then. Liu Beichen didn't mind and just said that. After all, Q University was the top university in the country. There were so many top students there, and they wondered what the effect would be when they played games. But it was proven that many of the top students in Q University were very good at games. Not to mention anything else, they knew how to think when they played games. Thinking was better than brainless games. Hence, there were quite a number of experts here. Fu Chenxi felt that she wouldn't be able to keep up with their pace at other places. This time she had to catch up. Hence, she dragged Fu Chenxi along to play. In the past, Gu Jingyan would occasionally play with Little Q's account. This time, Fu Chenxi insisted on registering an account, and she could only do so. The name was also randomly chosen. She just called it Nanny, I'm not dead. Fu Chenxi looked at it strangely. She named it Sulan Heavenly Flower. It looked very beautiful. The two of them entered the game, and started from the beginner's perspective. Gu Jingyan leveled up very quickly, and she was very good at playing. However, Fu Chenxi couldn't do it. She kept getting bullied. Chapter 1466. When Fu Chenxi and Gu Jingyan played together, they often said, Jingyan, come and save me. Jingyan, look, someone is coming to kill me. Jingyan, what should I do? Why can't I move? Sometimes, Gu Jingyan saw a problem with the player's operation. Sometimes it was common sense. Sometimes it was a mistake. However, Gu Jingyan was not a rigid player. She was willing to spend money where she could. After all, the Gu family was not short of money. Since Gu Jingyan had spent money to buy it, she would definitely have a share of it for Fu Chenxi. She would not leave her alone. In addition, Fu Chenxi had the support of Liu Beichen, so she had a lot of money. As a result, although the two of them had only been playing for a short time, they had quickly entered the rich list. Everyone couldn't help but start discussing about who the new nouveau riche in our district was. This game was very popular all over the world, so those who could get on the rich list must have spent a lot of money. Some of the rarer characters and skins could be obtained with money, but Gu Jingyan was able to obtain them very quickly. Many of the runes and equipment could also be obtained with money. As such, the low-leveled accounts were already more well-equipped than the high-leveled accounts. Everyone was calculating how much money this newcomer had spent. It must be at least a few million. How could a few million in such a short time be a small amount? It was not a small amount of money for Gu Jingyan. She was still a student, and her family didn't give her a lot of pocket money. Most of it was from her second brother. Her second brother, Gu Jingza, had worked in the company for a long time, so he had a lot of money. Her family loved her very much, so if she needed money, they would be very generous. Moreover, they also knew that Gu Jingyan wasn't an unreasonable person. She wouldn't spend money to cause trouble. It was reasonable for them to spend some money to enjoy themselves, so they basically asked Gu Jingza for the money. Everyone was discussing in the public area. There are a lot of new tycoons in our district recently, and I think that tycoon is a girl. Looking at her profile and profile picture, who knows if she's a transvestite? We'll know once we meet him. Although Fu Chenxi had also spent a lot of money, she did not spend as much as Gu Jingyan. Hence, she was not as famous as Gu Jingyan. In addition, Gu Jingyan was very violent. The spectators all realized that her techniques were very powerful. Not long after, her rank had already risen to the top. Therefore, he paid more attention to her. There were more discussions about whether she was a transvestite or not. On this day, someone came to harass her. Hey little girl, come, let's play together. Little brother will fly with you. Gu Jingyan glanced at him, and saw that he was also on the rich list. At the same time, he was also on the PK list. It seemed that he was also a famous person in the region. It's called just one fuck, Gu Jingyan said. No thanks. I like to play by myself. Don't be like this. Come on, let's go together. No need. If you continue like this, little brother won't be happy. Gu Jingyan was too lazy to pay attention to him, but he took advantage of her and shouted through the loudspeaker in the public area. Brothers, I'm going to marry the new goddess of our zone. Nanny, I'm not dead. Everyone come and congratulate me. This message went on for an entire day. Gu Jingyan was so angry that she couldn't even be bothered to play, and went offline. Fu Chenxi didn't think that Gu Jingyan would be so famous in a game. She looked at Gu Jingyan and comforted her. Don't bother with these people. Anyway, they're just people you see online. It's not like you can see them normally. Just pretend that you didn't see them. Gu Jingyan said. I just think that these shameless people are too much. Forget it, it's just a game anyway. If I don't play, I won't be able to see them. These few days, Liu Beichen and the others had been playing games like their lives depended on it, preparing to participate in the school tournament. Because when they watched the previous match, they saw that there was another team that seemed to be quite good. Little Q also seized the opportunity to train them. Since they had signed up, they couldn't embarrass their own team. Therefore, they didn't see these messages for a while. However, it was at night when Liu Beichen had nothing to do, so he went online to take a look and found out about this. Seeing that Loudmouth was still shouting that someone wanted to marry Nanny I'm not dead, Liu Beichen's face darkened when he remembered that it was Gu Jingyan. Little Q, who was beside him, couldn't sit still. What's the meaning of this? Marry Jingyan? This person must be crazy to dare say that he wants to marry Jingyan. Does he think we're dead? Yeah, she's the fourth daughter of the Gu family. How can he afford to marry her? Moreover, Gu Jingyan is one of us. Doesn't he know? Maybe he really doesn't know. Gu Jingyan and the others are just smuff accounts. They haven't joined our team yet. They probably don't know about Gu Jingyan's relationship with us. Otherwise, this guy wouldn't dare to be so arrogant. Liu Beichen looked at them. Because of this news, everyone was discussing in the public area. That guy is a godfather. I think he's a coal boss. He's been very arrogant ever since he came. He's flirted with many girls and spent a lot of money on them. That's why he's so high up in the rankings. This time, he probably won't be able to get a nanny. Nannies are so rich. Who knows if nannies rely on men's money? This area hasn't been this lively in a long time. Hurry up and kill the nanny. Kill the nanny. Don't let down your name. Fuck, these people were really. They even dared to touch his people. Old Su was still asking. Beichen, what do we do? It could be seen below. Liu Beichen had already used his megaphone. I've only been away for a day, and someone has already climbed onto my roof. That guy is a godfather. I told him to be impotent. As soon as this sentence was said, the public area exploded again. Fuck, it's Liu Beichen. Liu Beichen's in-game name was Annihilating Stars. Everyone knew that this was Liu Beichen's main account. Because Liu Beichen accidentally revealed it on Weibo, he instantly became famous. The people in the public area also knew that the guy who ranked first on the billionaire leaderboard and PK leaderboard was Liu Beichen. All of a sudden, the people below started discussing. No way, Liu Beichen has his eyes on the nanny too? This is the meaning of he's a godfather. Haha, he told him to be impotent. Now that he's a godfather, if he really is impotent, would he dare to challenge Liu Beichen? At first, Gu Jingyan didn't realize it. Because of these annoying things, she was too lazy to go online. However, Old Su immediately called her to inform her. Quick look, it's crazy in the game. Only then did Gu Jingyan go up to take a look. As soon as she appeared, people immediately noticed her. The heroine is here. The nanny is online. Nanny, come and see. Young Master Liu is standing up for you. Gu Jingyan was a little confused. What was going on, Star? Chapter 1467. Gu Jingyan glanced at it and understood. She quickly looked for Liu Beichen in the game. What are you doing? Liu Beichen said. I'm taking revenge for you. No need. I'll go offline for a few days. Let's see what he can do then. Liu Beichen wasn't going to let it go. Do my people need to hide from him? Just you wait. Before Gu Jingyan could type out the next sentence, Liu Beichen had already sent the message. Whoever kills just one kill in the future, I'll give you 1,000 yuan. No matter what mode it is, kill him on sight. Send me a screenshot of the kill, and get the money immediately. I'll give you 1,000,000 yuan for his head for a month. Damn, this was awesome. Everyone saw that the game was going to be fun from now on. Regardless of whether they were ranked or not, they would just kill whoever they saw. They wouldn't care if they won or lost. They would just kill whoever they saw. Anyway, they would get the money if they killed him. This time, he had been killed by a single person, and he didn't have any temper left. Damn, how could you do that? Liu Beichen, I was just joking. Do you have to spend so much money to kill me? Just one kill, said in the game, speechless. But Liu Beichen ignored him. There was no point in playing anymore. Who could continue playing if they were killed on sight? Therefore, he immediately became listless and disappeared without a trace. Gu Jingyan finally understood and was speechless. She said to Liu Beichen, "Do you have to spend so much money on a scumbag?" Liu Beichen said, "So what? We can't really spend that much. He died so many times that he didn't want to play anymore. It's only a few tens of thousands." Alright, but that was still money. She still felt that it wasn't necessary. But now, Gu Jingyan had nothing to say. They had spent all the money. Moreover, everyone was doing it for her. Liu Beichen continued, "You two should stop playing. Do you think we'll bring you here? Let's go. I'll bring you into our team. Let's see who dares to bully you then." Gu Jingyan still didn't understand. She only said, "A few days ago, another team pulled me in. If it wasn't for that, I would have entered." "What team? What do you mean by ferocious national soldiers?" "Haha, what's the point of joining their battle team? Come join us. I saw that their team had quite a lot of people, so I wanted to go over and take a look." Gu Jingyan said. However, since Liu Beichen had a team, it was better for him to join her team. When Gu Jingyan saw the message from Liu Beichen, she immediately accepted it. Just like that, he added it, and saw that the name written inside was Team O. What kind of name is this? It's just one letter. She also saw that there were very few people in the team. "Wow, your team has so few people." Liu Beichen noticed the disdainful tone in his voice. Liu Beichen chuckled. "Don't you know how many of our team members are on the leaderboard?" Gu Jingyan usually didn't pay much attention to this. He immediately opened up the tablet to take a look. As expected, the first few names on the entire leaderboard were all from this team. Liu Beichen said, "There aren't many people because I wouldn't let anyone in if they wanted to." Gu Jingyan pouted. How arrogant. The two of them didn't speak anymore. Then, Liu Beichen added Fu Chenxi into the team. Fu Chenxi was quite happy too. She saw that the people in the public area were saying, "Look, Liu Beichen's team has added 2 people. Isn't it just a nanny?" Indeed, the nanny is one of Liu Beichen's people. Who's the other person? I don't know him, but he's also on the rich list. It looks like they know each other. Someone even realized something and said, "Could one of them be Gu Jingyan? The one who's been rumored to be with Liu Beichen recently. The internet says that they're friends." These people were really good at making connections. Gu Jingyan didn't care about them and went offline. A few days later, the school league tournament started. Gu Jingyan and Fu Chenxi didn't participate. Liu Beichen and the others from his team formed a team. Naturally, they were crushed in the beginning. Later on, when the regional competition started, they started to play more seriously. At this time, the league tournament had just started to become popular, and many people came to watch it. Those who played games came to watch the game. Those who didn't play games came to watch the handsome guys. Especially since Liu Beichen was participating this time, there were even more people who came to watch. In an instant, the activity area was filled with people. Everyone's attitude towards this was no different from watching a basketball match. They were all cheering and shouting as they looked at the people on the big screen. Fu Chenxi was still a little nervous. She sat there and said, "It looks like the other team is quite strong." Gu Jingyan said, "Liu Beichen can do it. Don't worry." Fu Chenxi nodded and clenched her fists as she watched. Indeed, the other team wasn't a match for Liu Beichen's team at all. If they went up, they would be at an advantage. Their resources and everything would be snatched away. They couldn't develop at all. However, they didn't expect that the other team already had a plan B. Someone saw Gu Jingyan and Fu Chenxi below, and immediately came over. "Hey, would you like something to drink?" Gu Jingyan said. "No." She glanced at the boy. If she didn't know him, Gu Jingyan definitely wouldn't take the initiative to talk to him. Fu Chenxi was different. She was too embarrassed to reject him, so she said calmly, "No, thank you." That person moved closer to Fu Chenxi. "Don't be like this. Sai, I don't think you're from our school." Fu Chenxi blushed. Gu Jingyan felt that it was strange. Usually, everyone in the school knew about their relationship, and no one would come over to join in the fun. However, this person was obviously trying to get close to them. Gu Jingyan said, "Chenxi, let's go over there." "Oh, okay." Fu Chenxi nodded at him in a friendly manner. She felt that it was strange. Why was Gu Jingyan so unwilling to talk to others? Was it because she was a rich missy and didn't like to chat with ordinary people? Fu Chenxi thought about this and walked over. When that person saw this, he immediately followed her. This time, he purposely moved closer to Gu Jingyan. "What's wrong? Why are you so disgusted?" When they heard that Fu Chenxi was Liu Beichen's girlfriend, they definitely wouldn't dare to touch her. However, Gu Jingyan was different. They were friends, so she probably wouldn't be so cruel. That person's face moved closer, and Gu Jingyan said angrily, "What are you doing?" What surprised her was that Liu Beichen, who was playing a game up there, suddenly came down. "What are you doing? Who the fuck are you touching? Why are you so close?" When that person was scolded, everyone turned to look at him. Gu Jingyan saw that Liu Beichen. He didn't want to play anymore. Gu Jingyan quickly stood up and said, "Liu Beichen, what are you doing?" Everyone looked at Liu Beichen walking over angrily. The person who had just moved closer to Gu Jingyan immediately said, "What do you mean? She's not your woman. What's there to be anxious about? It's not like you want both of them." Chapter 1468. Those words had obviously touched Liu Beichen's sore spot. Before they could see what Liu Beichen had done, they saw a fist flying towards the boy, and he fell to the ground. Ouch! Blood oozed out of his nose and mouth. The onlookers quickly took a few steps back to avoid being implicated. He covered his nose and face, stood up and yelled at Liu Beichen, "You, Liu Beichen, what right do you have to hit me? Heh, that stinky mouth of yours. Did you eat something dirty at home and come out without brushing your teeth? You're asking for a beating." Liu Beichen was about to go forward again. He was so frightened that he kept retreating, shouting, "Liu Beichen, what are you doing? Are you trying to kill me? Someone help me." His shouts made the crowd even more rowdy. Everyone looked at Liu Beichen. Liu Beichen waved his fist threateningly. "Fine, if you dare to come. Let's see if I have the guts to hit you. How dare you say such insolent words? I won't lose anything even if I beat you to death." The boy below shouted, You can't be so arrogant just because you're Liu Beichen and your family is rich. How could you do this? Is there any justice in this world? Can you kill people just because you have money?" The onlookers did not know what was going on, but they heard him scolding and started discussing it. "Liu Beichen is too much. He's rich. What can you do to him? He's so arrogant. He's already begging for mercy, and you still dare to hit him in front of so many people." The onlookers felt that Liu Beichen was too much. Gu Jingyan saw that Liu Beichen's expression was so fierce that he looked like he was about to jump over and hit the boy. She hurriedly stopped Liu Beichen. "All right, that's enough." Liu Beichen shook off Gu Jingyan's hand. The onlookers were talking about him, and he looked even worse. "Don't worry about me. Let me beat this bastard to death." "Don't." Gu Jingyan saw the expression on Liu Beichen's face. He had really gone all out. She was worried that something bad would happen. Liu Beichen had always been impulsive and reckless. If something really happened, no one would be able to stop him. She quickly hugged Liu Beichen's waist. Seeing this, the people at the side retreated a few steps in fright. "Liu Beichen, don't move. Let me go." "No, I won't let you go. If you keep messing around, I'll knock you out." Liu Beichen lowered his head and looked at her. "What do you mean by that? Didn't you see what he was talking about?" "I know, but let's not talk about it now. You're still in the match." Gu Jingyan felt that something wasn't right. She looked up and saw that they didn't care about what was going on down there. Especially on the other side, the five of them were still fighting well together. However, on the other side, they were starting to become disorganized. Liu Beichen raised his head and said, "You guys fight your own battles. Don't worry about me. The road ahead is already paved. If you can't win, don't come looking for me." When old Su saw this, he wanted to sit down, but he quickly sat back down. Gu Jingyan looked at him helplessly. "Listen to me and stop fooling around, okay? No, I don't believe this. Today, I will beat him up and let him know what arrogance is. Don't. Gu Jingyan looked at the people around her looking at Liu Beichen, and felt upset. Everything else was fine. But the way they looked at Liu Beichen made Gu Jingyan very unhappy. Liu Beichen was a rich second generation, who bullied others with his power. He was too arrogant, beat people up as he pleased and was irrational. Liu Beichen wasn't that kind of person. How could they think of him like that? But even if she said it, they wouldn't believe her. They would only believe what they saw on the surface. It was Liu Beichen's fault. He was too rash. He really didn't care what others thought, but she did. She hugged him and didn't move. Don't go over. You can't go. You, Gu Jingyan, let me go. I won't let you go, unless you come with me now. You. I told you to let me go. Do you hear me? No, Liu Beichen, come home with me now. Don't say anything else. Gu Jingyan looked at him forcefully. Liu Beichen said, Hey, you're going against me. You're threatening me. Gu Jingyan placed her hands on her hips. What's wrong? Can't I threaten you? Come with me now. You don't have to do this kind of trash. Don't you think it's dirty? Liu Beichen said, Ha, I like to do it myself. Are you stupid? Gu Jingyan was so anxious that she was hopping mad. Liu Beichen said, Who are you talking about? He was doing this for her, but she was still stopping him. So what if she hit him? He was asking for it. But Gu Jingyan wouldn't let him. Go. Do I need you to care? Liu Beichen was stubborn. What do you mean? What I mean is that this is my business now. This old man scolded me, so I'll teach him a lesson. Get out of my way. Ha, I won't let you. I won't let you hit people. So what? Then don't blame me for including you. What? Do you want to hit me again? Liu Beichen approached her and she stepped forward, unwilling to back down. It was supposed to be a fight between Liu Beichen and Lin Yiqian, but now it was a fight between the two of them. The onlookers couldn't help but wonder what the two of them were doing. Weren't they together? Why were they fighting? Liu Beichen stood in front of her, looking down at Gu Jingyan. He was a man after all, so he was much taller than Gu Jingyan when he stood up. But Gu Jingyan's aura was no less imposing than Liu Beichen's. Everyone thought that Liu Beichen wouldn't really hit a woman. But Gu Jingyan sounded a little anxious. Liu Beichen was a rich man with a bad temper. Although he and Gu Jingyan were friends, it didn't mean that they wouldn't fall out. Had they fallen out this time? Everyone was wondering if Liu Beichen would hit Gu Jingyan as well. Liu Beichen picked Gu Jingyan up in his arms. Before Gu Jingyan could react, Liu Beichen flipped her over, and in the next moment, she was on his shoulder. You, Liu Beichen, what are you doing? Gu Jingyan slapped him on the shoulder. She struggled, kicking and hitting him, but Liu Beichen ignored her and walked out with her on his shoulder. Everyone was waiting to see Liu Beichen hit her, but they didn't expect this to happen. Liu Beichen got the man into the car, threw him in, and locked the door. Gu Jingyan was locked in his car. She banged on the window and screamed, Liu Beichen, are you crazy? How dare you do this to me? You wait. Liu Beichen snorted and threw the car keys into his pocket. It was an expensive car with excellent soundproofing, so he couldn't hear Gu Jingyan's screams. Gu Jingyan was furious. She thought to herself that once she got out, she wouldn't let him off. This was too much. Chapter 1469. At the same time, Liu Beichen's team had defeated their opponents. Liu Beichen's sudden departure made it difficult for them. However, the gap between them and Liu Beichen was too big. But because of Liu Beichen's ruckus, no one paid attention to their team's victory. Old Su threw his mouse down. Ah, we finally won. Little Q heaved a sigh of relief. Then, he looked up and saw that the crowd was in chaos. What was going on? He took a closer look. Everyone was discussing it. Gu Jingyan dared to offend Liu Beichen. Look, Liu Beichen threw her into the car. Yeah, no matter how close they are, he's still a young master. How dare he stop him in front of so many people? Liu Beichen is too hot-tempered. We should stay away from him in the future. Old Su and Little Q looked at each other. Liu Beichen threw Gu Jingyan into the car? Given Gu Jingyan's personality, she would go crazy with anger. He really dared to do it. Their thoughts were the complete opposite of those outside. Gu Jingyan dared to offend Liu Beichen. There was no one in Country C that Gu Jingyan didn't dare to offend. After all, they had won the game. They had wanted to celebrate together at night. However, Gu Jingyan walked out and ignored everyone. She didn't even care about Liu Beichen. It seemed like she was really angry. Old Su could only ask the others to join him for dinner. When they reached the dining area, Old Su said, "Beichen, you're in the wrong. Jingyan did it for your own good. Fighting in front of so many people will ruin your reputation." Liu Beichen was still playing with his chopsticks, looking nonchalant. But when he heard that, he looked up and said, "Hey, are you on her side now?" What for my own good? She just wants to go against me. Tell me, why doesn't she care about me? Why doesn't she object to me? There's nothing she doesn't object to. She's even doing it for my own good." There was no way to persuade him. However, Liu Beichen wasn't in the mood to celebrate. After 2 mouthfuls of food, he said that he wasn't in the mood and left. Fu Chenxi looked at him, and could only follow him. Old Su and Little Q shrugged. These two were hopeless. Gu Jingyan returned to the dormitory. When the people in the dormitory saw that she had returned, they who were still talking about the good show today quickly shut up. However, when he looked at the person in question, his heart was filled with curiosity. Finally, someone couldn't help but ask, "Jingyan, what's going on? Why are you fighting with Master Liu?" "That's right. Is Master Liu really angry?" "You too. Even if you have a good relationship with Master Liu, you can't not give him face." "But young Master Liu, why did he lock you in the car? How did you fight?" "We didn't see clearly from outside." Everyone was actually very curious, but no one could explain in detail what had happened to cause such a big commotion. Gu Jingyan raised her head and said, seeing that they were thinking so much, she was speechless and said, "Isn't it just a quarrel? I'm fine. But if we fight, what will people say about us?" Seeing that there was something to talk about, his roommate quickly came over and said enthusiastically, "They said that someone bullied young Master Lu's girlfriend, and young Master Lu was so angry that he beat them up. But they also said that you fought with his girlfriend, and he wanted to beat you up. They also said that you had an affair with that guy, and young Master Lu was so angry that he wanted to beat that guy up, but you stopped him, and then the two of you fought." "What the hell was going on?" Gu Jingyan said. "That's not true. Firstly, we didn't fight at all. Secondly, I went over to stop them. What does it have to do with me?" Everyone looked at each other speechlessly. "Then these rumors are all wrong." Gu Jingyan said, "Of course. I'm really curious why they are spreading such rumors." They shrugged and said, "Because even though you're not in the society, there are rumors about you everywhere." "That's right. You're too pretty. Not only are you pretty, but you're also good at studying. You young Master Lu and the rest of them? Will people stare at you wherever you go? Because you are the most influential people in school." Gu Jingyan shook her head and said, "Sigh, everyone is so bored." Gu Jingyan and Liu Beichen's relationship had indeed become famous in school. The next day, Gu Jingyan and Elder Su had a meal together. Liu Beichen was so angry that he didn't come to school. The two of them tried to persuade Gu Jingyan. "All right, one of you should stop talking, and the other one should take a step back. Let me tell you, if you say a word to him, he'll definitely not be angry anymore. That's just how he is." Gu Jingyan snorted and said, "Forget it, I'm not interested." "Sayu, if you want to talk then don't. It's not like I have to talk to him. I still have you guys. Do you think I'll die without him?" The two of them didn't want to take the first step. Elder Su said, "Heh, let's see how long you can continue." The others saw that Elder Su and Elder Su were still together with Gu Jingyan, and they were curious. They had thought that since Gu Jingyan had offended young Master Lu, no one would dare to talk to her anymore. However, they didn't expect that Gu Jingyan was so close to them. They had thought that they would definitely follow young Master Lu. They couldn't tell that they were Gu Jingyan's good friends. The two of them just did their own things, and pretended that the other person didn't exist. Fortunately, the school was big, and after so long, they wouldn't be able to see each other even if they didn't want to. On the other hand, because Liu Beichen and Elder Su had won the school championship, they were immediately recommended to continue competing in the competition in City B. News started to spread on the internet that Lu Beichen had participated in the game competition. In an instant, everyone paid more attention to the competition. Someone said in surprise, "I didn't expect young Master Lu to be so good. Young Master Lu is also a godly person." Lu Beichen looked at the praises on the internet and was very pleased. Although there had been a lot of compliments over the years, it was all because he was Lu Beichen. This was the only thing that was appreciated, because he was good at the game. Fu Chenxi was a little puzzled. She smiled and said, "Look at you. You're like a child. You're so happy to be praised for playing games." "Then you don't understand," Lu Beichen said. "It's called a sense of achievement. But you wouldn't understand. Just like me and Gu Jingyan, He suddenly brought up that unlucky person again. He spat and said, "Anyway, this is something we did on our own. It has nothing to do with our family, so we feel a sense of achievement." Fu Chenxi's face darkened. Yeah, she wouldn't understand. She wasn't a rich missy. You're tuning in to the Dreamy Chapters YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support. And don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.